Every 1,000-mile journey starts with a single step. Some will be filled with joy, others disappointment, pain, and exhilaration. But without a single solitary insignificant first, those steps never happen.
Has the leader gone down? Yes, he has. Cole Nichols is down big.
Our super motocross season, our 31 races, our new $10 million championship starts now. A 30-second board raises, a button is pushed, a single gate drops. Careers, lives, our history changes forever.
Are you ready to get this season going? Monster Energy Supercross for a new year here in A1.
So much will unfold before the confetti flies. But for now, the impossible is possible.
Rex Anderson down.
What future GOAT emerges from obscurity? Which veteran resists retirement siren song for one last shot at glory?
The book of Eli is complete.
A new champion of a new championship stands on top at the Coliseum. At this moment, more than in any year past, anyone on the starting line has the potential to etch their name in the history books.
And Ken Roczen wins A1.
Our unwritten saga starts here, like it always should, in Anaheim. From Angel Stadium, this is Race Day Live.
Hello and welcome to Race Day Live, presented by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. My name is Dan Hubbard, and we are back in Anaheim, A1. We're getting ready to rock. This is the first race of 2023 for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship and the inaugural Super Motocross World Championship as well. Pretty darn excited, and I know we're excited to have Daniel Blair back. Buddy, you ready to rock?
I am ready. We are right back at it again, and I'm so grateful to be inside this building right now. There's nothing like Anaheim 1. It's the sound, it's the smell of the bikes, and I know all the fans tuning in right now, you're feeling the same emotions as I am, all the crazy ones, and we're finally here. Let's just do the thing.
We're going to do the thing. We got bikes on track already, and right now we want to do the introduction thing with our new trackside hosts. I want to introduce Lurch. If you've been to any of the live events for Supercross or even outdoors, you've heard his amazing voice for over 9 years announcing live events for Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship. And new this year, Haley Shanley is with us. She is a professional announcer and TV host for outdoor racing, and we are lucky to have her on board because she races dirt bikes and street bikes. Haley, I don't know if you brought your bike out here, but it looks like a pretty challenging track nonetheless.
You know, while I may have no credentials, no business being out here on my 125, I challenged the Race Day Live team to a duel on P-dubs. But no, I'm so excited to be here, guys. It's such an honor to be helping carry the coverage, tell the stories this season with the Monster Energy AMA Supercross. Just stoked to be here.
You know, Dan, after 9 seasons, 157 Supercross weekends, I took a little time off. Ryan Dungey retired, and then he unretired. I figured if Dungey can do it, I can too, so I'm happy to be back starting my 10th season, and we're going to see if we can get up to my weight, maybe 180 events.
Well, hey, let's call you the Ryan Dungey of hosting, buddy. I'm really glad to have you back, and there's so many things to talk about, Daniel. We're going to get into that. I want to get into the Super Motocross World Championship. A lot to learn about that right now, and we're going to help you out. Take a look.
The top 20 riders in combined points will automatically be seeded into the 3-round SMX playoffs. A rider can also automatically qualify for the end-of-season competition by winning a Supercross main event or a motocross overall victory. They will be placed along with the remaining in positions 21 to 30 and will have an opportunity to race their way into the 22-rider field at each playoff round. The Super Motocross World Championship events will be a 2-moto format with a maximum of 26 points for round 1 and 52 points for round 2. The World Championship finale, right here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, will raise the stakes with a maximum of 78 points available to the title hopefuls. The historic 2023 season will feature 31 championship events, and the remarkable athletes will compete for a record $10 million in prize money and the prestige of racing for the inaugural SMX World Championship.
$10 million on the line, Daniel Blair. When you were racing Arena Cross, did you ever think there'd be a pro purse like that over the year?
No, I was chasing like $10 back when I was racing Arena Cross, but $10 million. And look, I think the most important thing to explain is that the traditions of Supercross and motocross are staying intact. It's a 17-round championship for Supercross, an 11-round championship for motocross, but the Super Motocross World Championship gives us a chance to combine the two together, throw in these 3 playoff rounds, which I think the sport has needed for a long time, and 2023 is the year that we get to create brand new history. I'm so excited, Dan.
And this will favor riders who will both excel indoors on these technical tracks for Supercross and then outdoors for the endurance runs. It'll serve them well.
Yeah, you're going to have the endurance to make it through an entire season, but you're going to have that clutch gene when it matters, those final 3 races of the year. And that's the most important part of racing, is who can bring it when the pressure is on the most. And they created a format that's going to allow that. But hey, it is still Anaheim. It's round 1. We got to get through the Supercross Championship first, and we got to get through this track, man. A day ago, they should have been on jet skis, but today they're on their bikes. The track looks pretty good. It's going to work itself out throughout the next couple hours, but we're in great shape to kick this thing off.
We are indeed. January 7th here. It couldn't have come sooner, and I'm excited. It's my daughter's birthday. Shout out to Nova Hubbard, her birthday, watching at home, and we got a gate drop here. Now, traditionally, we're going to let them start on that start straight, but not here. With that split start, we're going to drop the gate on these qualifying rounds. And that's going to be fun, watching them come out of 2 sides of gates. We had that last year, coming out of 2 sides, funneling in to get that hard left into this rhythm section. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, they split the start, as you saw. There's a whoop section in the middle, and then they kind of come together. And when I saw it on paper, I said, well, I hope they get it right, because it's kind of a little bit of a gamble when you get creative like that. But when I got here, I realized, like, man, they really positioned the track properly. And shout out to Dirtworks, too. This track was tarped, but when you tarp the track, the water has to go somewhere. So half this thing was underwater. They work their magic. They always do. We got a great racetrack to kick off the season.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. The amount of work they put in, working late nights, tarping the track, and then it rains. They got to rebuild. They got to backhoe and pull all that water out. Some of the troughs down here at the bottom of the jumps, those will get some mud in there, especially around the track, which the riders shouldn't have to worry about. You saw one of the starters come out and go off the track. If that happens, that might be a little problematic. But for the most part, it's getting dry. Take a look at this right here on the 93. It is drying out up top, and that wasn't the case yesterday or the day before. It started yesterday, but it's starting to get really dry. You mentioned earlier today that they're going to bring out the water truck, man. I'm like, there's no way they're bringing out a water truck. It looks like they probably will.
Well, they're going to have to be very specific on where they put the water. But, yeah, the top of the track is dry, because it's pretty much been dry the entire time. It was tarped, but all the water funneled down. So the challenge right now is just to mix and match. Let's get the dark dirt and the light dirt, mix it all together. And by the time we go racing tonight, it's going to be perfect. But big challenges in qualifying. I mean, Adam Cincerello, Styles Roberts, and even Jet Lawrence went down in their free practice because they're trying to figure out where are those soft spots. And at this point, they're everywhere, but they'll be gone by tonight.
We have R.J. Waisman on screen. Jerry Robin on the 93 up on top of the fastest time so far in this qualifier, the 107.440. Again, if you're just joining us, this is qualifying for the night show here at A1. We're going to do 2 rounds of qualifying and pick the fastest riders, send them into the night show. We need the top 40. They're going to go to the night show, compete in heat races, LCQs. We'll whittle it down to 22 to the main event for the 250 West and the 450s as well. That premier class. And not an easy track to negotiate right here, as we're finding out. R.J. Waisman giving you a little view of what it's like, and you've been on tracks like this. I got to ask, does this favor any particular rider having that kind of that soft, dry on top, soft underneath? And
I mean, let's be honest. On a physical level, all the top riders in the sport can do anything. It's all about mental. Who's going to come in with the right approach and be willing to adapt, because this track will change. It's going to start out like this, what you're seeing. By the second round of qualifying, it's going to be a little better, and then by the night program, it's going to be completely different. So the rider who can adapt and is willing to, willing to try different things on the motorcycle and allow themselves to be adaptable, that's who's going to be successful.
So what kind of things? Let's get specific.
Okay.
What are you trying on this track? What kind of things would you be trying? I mean, in terms of just pushing yourself and pushing your comfort zone?
Yeah, comfort zone is it. These riders, they feed off of comfort. Comfort turns into confidence. Confidence turns into aggression. So the riders who explore, try the left, try the right, different rhythms, those are the riders that are going to have more in their toolbox when we go racing tonight. So the riders that are out there nervous and they want to stick to that one line because it's comfortable, they're the ones that are going to struggle. find your comfort everywhere. Those are the riders that'll succeed when the gate drops.
R.J. Waisman, you were looking at him on screen. We talked to him earlier about a month ago at the press days and media days, and he talked about being in his comfort zone. He wants to qualify, happy 9th to 12th in qualifying right now. He is right there. He was in 12th, so he's in 12th, right where he wants to be. Of course, it's early in qualifying, and again, we have 3 groups. We've got the C group, B group, and the A group coming up, headed by Jet Lawrence. Pretty excited to see what he's going to do after getting back-to-back championships in outdoors and in Supercross. It's going to be fun. Right now, Jerry Robin still on top. Always fun to watch Jerry Robin out here. Had an injury last year. He's back in looking strong. It's great to see him up and at it at A1.
Yeah, it's got to feel great to get out front early, be on the top of the leaderboard, give yourself a little confidence. But what I really like, Dan, is the lap time, sitting there at the 107, 108 mark, and of course they'll come down, but anything over a minute to me is really good because it's more track, more passing opportunities, more options in rhythm sections. So the fact that we are over a minute, and we'll see what the 450A guys get down to once they get the track all worked in, but I like the long lap times. I think it's better racing.
We got to see him in free practice before this. So before they get into actual qualifying, they had a 10-minute free practice, and they get to try out the track. And I want to point out that they didn't have a chance, any of them, to ride in press day yesterday. It was canceled. They wanted to keep the track nice and clean, under tarps, ready to rock. They didn't want to mess it up, so there was no press riding. So there's no advantage for some of these A guys or even some of the privateers to get out and try the track. It was fun to watch them in free practice, and they only got 10 minutes. So when you see the A guys come out again, it'll only be their second time on this track, and you better believe 10 minutes isn't enough to figure it out. So that's the big thing of qualifying, right? Figuring this track out and throwing down that one super fast lap.
Well, these riders have spent months preparing their motorcycle on practice tracks. That's the key, practice tracks. You want to get out on the racetrack as soon as you can so you can kind of iron out your suspension and your chassis, maybe some motor adjustments. And these guys kind of depend on that press day. That's their chance to really work through some of the initial bugs, and they didn't get that yesterday. So free practice today, I thought the first couple laps, everybody looked a little off, if I'm being honest. And by the end of it, you saw the comfort kick in. So pressed up against the wall just a little bit early here in the season, but these are the best of the best. So once we drop the gates tonight, they'll be fine, but they would have liked that press day yesterday.
I don't want to jump it, but I saw Jason Anderson get out in front early. Hadn't touched the track yet. Everybody behind him, he hit that throttle, ripped around, and got way out in front. So we'll look forward to seeing Jason Anderson and what he can do when he gets out to this track. Right now, again, Group B qualifying for the 250 West Division. Right on top is Hunter Yoder on the 508. And Chad Schultz right there on this 364, 15th on this one right now overall, and trying to move up just behind Jerron Stapleton.
Yeah, Hunter Yoder, I had a chance to actually play with him in a golf tournament this summer, and nice kid, great up-and-coming kid. And
how's his golf game?
Well, it's pretty good, but luckily for him, he put the golf clubs away the last month or two. He's been in South Carolina preparing it south of the border, and had a chance to talk to him on Wednesday night too, and he's fired up and ready to go, and it's good to see him up top of the leaderboard. That's how you want to do it. Make a first impression, get up front, and get the confidence started early so it rolls into the night program.
Yeah, but that can backfire too, right? If you come out of the gate too fast, too into this track, especially a technical track like this, that can backfire and give you problems.
Yeah, that's the crashes we saw in free practice. Some of the guys came out a little too aggressive before
Even
they understood.
Yeah,
before they understood where the soft pockets were in the track. Some guys came in a little too aggressive and found the dirt. So, but for Yoder and Robin and Miller, this is a great place to be in the initial part of the season. Get up front, but mostly be aware of your motorcycle right now. I know you want to be on top of the leaderboard, you want to bring that speed, but we still have another qualifier coming. The track will be better in that one, so be very aware of what your bike is doing right and wrong so you can make the improvements before your second qualifier.
So dig into that, because you talk about conventional wisdom, the track's going to be better. You would think it'd break down and get worse. You're talking it's going to get better as the day goes on, and including into the night show?
That's right. Now, when you go to some of the tracks like Houston, St. Louis, a soft dirt, it starts so good, it's perfect, and then it breaks down. But here, because of what we've dealt with weather-wise, it's going to start a little messy. It's going to be a little confusing for the riders and that comfort. But as the track crew works it in, they're going to work in the lips, the jumps, and the berms. It will actually get better throughout the night, and that's just not typical of what we see. But with this kind of weather, that's what we got.
It's interesting, too. We were looking, if you see, we don't have a pull-away shot, but down the first baseline, that's been in the shade for most of the day. So that's saying a little bit wetter, right? And outside that first baseline, 90% of the track has been drying up with the sun. Back-to-back triples, by the way. That's the Fly Racing triple, followed up by a Monster Energy triple. And I saw a number of riders overshoot that first triple before they were used to it. So they're going to have to simmer down a little bit on those big jumps and get used to them first. Most of them handling it just fine. But you can overshoot that missed transition and bottom out your suspension pretty easily.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that, too, because in the rhythm sections, it's so soft in between, so these guys are having to be more aggressive and use more power. Then they go to the triple, and they're kind of in that same mentality. Maybe I need a little more. But the track crew did a really good job at making sure that the triple, the finish line jump, you didn't have that soft stuff at the bottom. So they come out a little too aggressive, grab some throttle. Next thing you know, they're flat landing. But it takes a lap or two. These guys can figure it out.
And they got plenty of time to do it. Still, Jerry Robin, the man to beat here in Group B for 250 West, qualifying, running that 106.737, his fastest time so far. Not much time left, down about 45 seconds here. They'll be able to finish the lap they're on before that checkered flag flies. And again, if you're new to the sport, the checkered flag will fly at the 10-minute mark, and that's not a race. Again, we're just looking for the single fastest lap from every one of these riders. So when they see that checkered flag fly, if they pass it before the flag flies, they'll have that one last chance to get on that fast lap. But again, this is only the first round of qualifying. They have an entire second round coming up in just a little bit.
That move right there, inside, get across the line. The actual transponder line is at the very bottom of the finish line jump. So sometimes you'll see the track layout. It works itself out to where you can just kind of shoot to that inside, try to get that fast time. And obviously you can't do your next lap fast because you don't jump the finish line jump. But you'll see some guys kind of sneaking that in from time to time. Looks like they're trying that now.
RJ Wageman, the 126, moving up into 8th from that 12th spot. So he was able to improve his time and do even better than I think he's expecting. Again, when we talk about, he mentioned qualifying to getting qualifying, he was talking overall. We still haven't seen the A group yet, so I know he wants to get a better run. But right now, in terms of Group B and Group C, I believe he is up there in 8th overall.
250 West is stacked this year, too. 11 of the top 15 riders from last season's 250 East all moved their way to the West Coast this year. So Jet Lawrence and RJ Hampshire, Cameron McAdoo, Austin Faulkner, we saw great battles from them a year ago. They all came west and brought, it seemed like, half the field with them. So a lot of the riders here are pretty familiar with each other race-wise. So once we get to those gate drops, it's going to be fun to watch some of those battles from last year come back around in 2023.
Someone who's no stranger to battles, Anthony Rodriguez. We just had a shot at him, 7-time national Venezuelan champion, and that puts him up to the top, the 111 of Rodriguez, doing that 106.306, so just barely ahead of Jerry Robin. He's got to be happy about that.
Yeah, great start to the season. I mean, you're hoping to get through your first couple qualifiers without issue. Again, you need to be aware of what's underneath you so you can make smart changes, but more importantly, just stay out of trouble. It's a long season. Just kind of ease your way in. You're all going to get a chance to go really, really fast, but while this track is developing, maybe develop with it and don't take too many chances.
And you talk about moving to different tracks. Think about coming all the way from Venezuela or South America, Central America, Europe, anywhere. You can adapt, but it is different everywhere you go, every country you go to.
Yeah, and when you come to the practice tracks, you get really comfortable on a track. You get to ride without pressure. There's no tough blocks. There's not a lot of people around, so you can take your time. There's not a lot of time here, so it just feels different when you actually get on the racetrack. And I swear that 10-minute session feels like 1 minute. Before you even blink, it's over. So take it in, guys. Try to slow everything down to really absorb that track because it's a long season. You just got to come in nice and smooth and then turn it up.
and it is a long season, right? So we've talked about that before. Some of our A-class riders coming in too hot, having injuries, dealing with the track problems. Eli Tomac's one of those dudes that will take his time, work his way in. We'll get into that later. Right now, we have 258. Qualifying gate is down. Who is out in front? PRC. Looks like RJ Hampshire's in the mix as well. This could be fun. I'm excited to see Jet Lawrence and what he's going to do with the competition. I don't see him out front. Doesn't look real worried about it. I think Levi Kitchen on the 43 out in front right there. Pierce Brown might be in the mix as well. RJ Hampshire on the 24. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna trying to put some pressure in there. But again, just their first lap after they've only had 10 minutes on this track.
Yeah, I was watching free practice pretty closely too, just trying to get a gauge on what rider might feel comfortable, maybe ones that are second guessing. And RJ Hampshire looked really good. I felt like Cameron McAdoo was pretty aggressive. The one rider who stood out, who seemed to be the most comfortable, and when I say comfortable, I mean had a lot of speed, but didn't look like they were using a lot of effort, was Austin Faulkner. He looked fantastic. So it's just free practice, but for me, that was the first impression of him with his new number 55, and I mean, he looked great. If he can carry that and continue to build into the night program, I think he could be back to old Austin Faulkner for him.
I know it's super unofficial, but when I looked up at the tower that shows the timing and scoring, it was Austin Faulkner up on top in free practice. Again, doesn't really matter, but it kind of gives a little bit of a statement. Fortner coming out and trying to battle, and he's going to have competition with Hampshire out here.
Yeah, Hampshire's going to be great this year. He's super excited about the motorcycle. That's a second-year bike right now. That they debuted that new Husqvarna last year and worked their way into the season, chipped away, made improvements, and I had a chance to talk to him about a month ago, and he said, we are in a completely different world. This bike, chassis-wise, engine-wise, is the best it's been, and when you hear someone like that come into a season that confident, that's a good thing, and he will have challenges. He's only raced the West Coast Championship once in his career, 2019, so there's kind of a little bit of an adaptation needed right there on these types of tracks, but he's a vet. He's a winner, indoor and out. I think RJ's going to have a great season this year.
Some of these riders like RJ may prefer the East Coast, but the idea of coming to A1, such a seminal race, such an important race of the year, that's got to be exciting for them. I know we had it with Fortner, with McAdoo, with Jet Lawrence. They were all on the East Coast last year. They've all been moved to the West, so they get to shine here for A1, and that's got to be pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, and when you talk about Austin Fortner and making that first impression, for me, it wasn't what he did on the bike. It was what he said in the press conference. He's not coming in nice and smooth this year. He's not going to ease his way. Oh, save it. He's got it. He's coming in aggressive this year. He said, no, I'm coming in wide open. And I like that because when he's been at his best, when he's been at most aggressive, that's his best quality, when he can contain it. So if he brings that this year and brings on some of that stability with growing of age, I think he can be a force. And again, the first impression of the press conference for me, a guy who is fired up and confident and ready to go.
Well, and he's been plagued with so many injuries over the years, including last year in Arlington when he mixed it up with Jet Lawrence. And that was devastating, I think, emotionally. So he really had to find a new place to go. It's not just physically, getting healed up, dealing with his knees, shoulder, all that, but emotionally and mentally. And I feel after talking to him during media days and seeing in the press conference that you and Jason Wygant hosted, that he really is on point. We're going to find out. That's one of those big questions we have. Just how good is he doing? How strong is he mentally? Again, very early. This is a tricky track. What happened there?
Well, I don't know if it's because the clock is actually ticking and it matters now, but he looks a little messier than he looked in free practice. So maybe
so
he's trying too hard.
Does the pressure get to you?
Or maybe just trying to. I don't know, but he's had a really, really wild lap. So he'll be fine. He's a vet. He's won a lot of Supercrosses, but for all those who are watching right now, that was maybe a rough lap to watch. But I'm telling you, it was better than that about 30 minutes ago. So
it'll be like you had to pick that one. Max Boland up on top, by the way. Doing it for KTM. Max Boland, number 34, running a 104.020. Now, again, the two rounds we showed a little bit earlier of the C and B class, they're going up against the A class as well. So Max Boland with that 104.020, just coming up on halfway through this round. Yellow flags are out. Not sure where the problem is. We'll find out and take a look at it. Jet Lawrence, the man to watch on the number 18 Honda HRC. What a year he has had.
Yeah, year and a half, actually. I mean, if you go back to when he started winning the championships, he won that Pro Motocross Championship a little over a year ago, and then since then, he just can't stop. He's won 3 straight, and he has a great opportunity tonight. If he wins this championship on the 250 West, starts strong in Anaheim and get that title, he'll be the first rider since Grant Langston to be able to win a 250 East and West Coast championship. That's hard to do. It's hard to win, too, regardless. But if you can navigate your way through an East and West Coast championship and deal with the pressures of Anaheim on the West, the pressures of Daytona on the East, I mean, you're in rare company right there. So great opportunity for Jet this year to get it done.
Looks like he's getting it done right now. A 102.677, almost 2 seconds more. Fortner
there he is,
coming back right at him. So this is the battle I'm looking for. This is the rematch I want to see. Mitch Payton bringing in McAdoo Fortner to battle against Jet Lawrence. That's exciting, and here it is. Look at your top two. Austin Fortner on that 55, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, putting a little bit better, 0.2 of a second there. Not much, but better than Jet Lawrence. So is he getting more comfortable now, buddy?
Hey, clock don't lie. Clock don't lie. So yeah, I think 102.6, I think he'll take that, but it's still going to come down, and if you leave this practice and you're super confident, I think that's a mistake, because the track is going to be different in the next one. So don't come off the track and be like, oh, I'm number 1, I'm good to go. No, everybody's going to get better. The track's going to be a whole lot different in qualifying number 2, and then by the heat race, then by the main event, but it still feels good when you see your name on the top of the board. It makes you think, hey, I made good decisions with my suspension. I made good decisions with my training program. And so take what you can from it, but don't bank on being the fastest qualifier in the first one, because it's just the first.
Yeah, plenty of time to make it up in the second round right here. The 83 of Thompson, I believe, hanging out around the top 10. We'll see what he can do. And there's the 55 again, Austin Fortner. I do want to look at the top 5, Enzo Lopes. Oh, getting sideways, way to control it. You saw a little bit earlier, he is good at controlling. If he has a problem, he can bring it back in, but that's a scary moment.
Well, go back a couple years and maybe he doesn't save that. I mean, Austin Fortner's been through some tough times. He's had some big crashes, especially in whoops in the early part of his career. So
that's experience.
To me, that this is a right. That was a tough look.
This is the toughest part of the track when I saw in free practice, going down through the whoops, across the start, that right turn into that berm, and then that little, it's getting rutted out right there. I saw people cross-rutting and having trouble getting on to the tabletop, to that step on, step off. That's going to be the place to watch. It's going to come into frame right now, just to the left of Fortner, his left. Right here,
right there,
that berm, that Monster Energy berm into that Kawasaki Rhythm section, we saw a lot of people having trouble with that. Keep an eye on that tonight when you watch the racing. I'm not sure how much better it's going to get, especially when they start bunching up, racing each other.
Well, when the track crew pulls the tarps off, the water has to go somewhere, and there's certain parts that are going to get worse than others, and that corner definitely got it pretty bad. So they will work it in. It's going to be a work in progress throughout the day, but we got the best of the best on the track crew, so they'll get it right. But here's Styles Robertson. Dan, he had a big crash in free practice. I mean, if he would have landed a little bit different, left or right, we might not see him right now. It was a tough one, but he hopped up real quickly and ran over. I think maybe even more embarrassed than anything, because he was like, oh no, everyone saw that. But it could have been a bad one. Glad to see he's okay, and I'm excited to see what he does in 2023.
Looked a little rough. His visor popped right off, so he's got a new visor. Good to go. Magnet's working.
Watch it. See, if you get the on-off, you can get the 3, and then you can do the... wow, that's good.
This is 250SX West Group A qualifying, Monster Energy 250SX Group A qualifying, fueled by AMPM.
Top of the leaderboard, Enzo Lopes.
Love it.
Yeah, I love him too. He was great last year in the 250 East, and when I saw his name on the entry, I said, you know what? Good move by Club MX to bring him on the West Coast. Let him race with these guys again. He was in the mix battling and fighting with this group, and
I think he hit a top 5.
A bunch of them. I mean, he really was good.
I mean, at the end of the year, a 5th overall, I believe, in the East.
Is that where he is?
I'll have to check with Clinton. We'll get 3 laps down here to get us that stat.
We've got
I want to find out. We have the man with numbers. And we're going to, by the way, excited to let you know him as 3 laps down on Instagram. He is the genius behind the numbers, our statistician, Clinton Fowler. He'll be joining us later on in the show. I'm excited to have him back this year. But what a wealth of knowledge he has. We can give him the hard-hitting questions like that.
He likes to straighten me out. When I have a thought or a feeling or an opinion, he comes, there's that triple. If you get that 1-3, the table over 2 singles out is pretty easy. We saw Fortner do it with pretty much no run, so you know the jump's not that big, but just keep your flow. You can do it so much easier, so much lower. And for RJ Hampshire, sitting 7th right now, and I think he's going to have a good season again. He's coming in very confident, happy with the motorcycle. He's one of those riders. He's not afraid to say when he's not happy, and according to him, about a month ago, he said this is the best he's felt. So I'm excited to see what he does this year on 250 West.
Enzo Lopes still up on top on that Mugoff FXR Club MX Yamaha. He's the one to beat right now, 102.550. Fortner just below him with a 102.603. Jet Lawrence currently in 3rd with a 102.677.
Upshift right there, get the run to the whoops. RJ, great run, stayed back. Here's Jet Lawrence. So that 102.6, pretty solid. There's the 3. Kind of clipped a little bit right there. Decided not to jump all the way out, but it's going to be fun to watch Jet this year. I mean, I think back to his rookie season in this stadium. I mean, he really left an impression on everybody. And, man, snap your fingers, and he's got 3 championships straight. He's going to the 450s this summer for Pro Motocross, and might even see him on a 450 this year in Supercross. I heard he was, and I heard he wasn't. I heard he might, but we'll see how the season starts in the 250. I think if things are going pretty good, you might see him race the 450, maybe at a Daytona or something like that. But
you mentioned in your press conference that he was wanting to just go ahead and take that championship all the way down and concentrate on this West Coast Championship, the second 250 in Supercross. So that could change is what you're telling me. Everything is up in the air.
Yeah, I don't think the door is shut on any decisions with that. I think they're going to play it by ear. And
I'm hoping.
Oh, me too.
I'd love to see him.
And he's got great,
step up on the gate with a 450 against this 450 class this year.
He's got great people behind him. They'll make a great decision when it's time.
All right, let's see who wound up on top. I do believe it is the 56 of Enzo Lopes all the way up. What a job by this Club MX rider. Yes, indeed, besting Fortner, Lawrence Hampshire, and Styles Robertson. But take a look at there. Austin Fortner, I believe he was the fastest qualifier last year. We'll see if the second round will change that. We're going to come back with more qualifying 450s up next here at Anaheim 1.
Rated E for everyone.
Get ready for RM Fantasy SX, the ultimate Monster Energy Supercross Fantasy Challenge from RockyMountainATVMC.com. We're giving away over $100,000 in prizes, and the best part is, it's completely free to play. Top season prizes include a customized KTM 450 SXF, a KTM 250 SX with Race Tech custom suspension and other extras, a KTM SX E5, a Stay-Stick stability cycle with accessories, a $2,500 spending spree, and more. 6th through 10th place season winners will be awarded prizes from top brands like Alpine Stars, Motion Pro, Fly Racing, Milestone Video Games, and Oakley. And that's just the beginning. 100 prizes will be given away to the top scoring players from each round of Monster Energy Supercross. Just sign up on our secure game site, make your picks, and even get into group play to maximize the fun. To get your game on and for more details, sign up today at rmfantasysx.com. To be eligible for prizes, you must be 18 years of age or older. See full rules on website.
Did you know RM Fantasy SX is giving away some great prizes this year, including a custom race prep KTM 450 SXF Factory Edition, 250 SX FXE5 electric motorcycle, and more. Plus, there are huge prizes up for grabs each week. Top 10 100 scores. But the best part of all is it's free to play. Be sure to get your picks in at rmfantasysx.com. We're going to go down to Lurch right now with our fastest qualifier so far of the day. It is with Enzo Lopes.
Yeah, the Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha Enzo Lopes. The mission statement of Club MX has been to say we can compete with the factories, and I think you opened up a lot of eyes right there.
Oh yeah, it was a really good practice for me, to end up P1 in the first round. I mean, the boot camp was really good at Club MX this year. I just feel super ready to go. Last year I was dealing with some issues, but this year I'm 100%, and yeah, just thanks to my Muck-Off FXR Club MX team and my family, everyone back home in Brazil cheering for me. Thank you.
Man, I got to tell you, a great job by the number 56 of Enzo Lopes.
I agree with Lurch on that one. Coming all the way from Brazil again. Did we say World Championship? We got people from all over the country and the world competing right now. And it looks like the number 7 of Aaron Plessinger getting out in front. I mentioned earlier the 21 of Jason Anderson in free practice getting out right quickly out of the gate there in front of everybody. He's got a couple people in front of him. Let's see if he can get by, because I feel like Jason Anderson is here to win tonight.
Oh, I think he's here to win the whole thing, man. I mean, last year he was so great on that Kawasaki. You make a big change like that, it's a gamble. Like, am I going to get along with these guys? Am I going to like that bike? Is the chemistry going to be right? And he proved that it was. 7 wins. He won the last 4 rounds of the championship, and no real change this year. He's like the one guy, I think, that doesn't have any change. So it's going to be a good He's going to go to the inside right here and make the pass.
This is that tricky spot I was telling. It looks like they knocked it down a little bit, by the way. So Dirtworks has knocked that down. In free practice, it was about maybe, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 feet taller. So I think that's going to help in that section be better for the riders. Well done, Dirtworks. 21 and the 94.
Goes Kenny back up the inside. He's going to settle in right there. And, yeah, you said it right. Jason was so aggressive right in that first free practice. And he seemed being aggressive right now. But look at AP. Aaron Plessinger pulling away early and just qualifying. But man, every little thing does matter mentally. You just, every little bobble, you go, oh, no. Every good thing you do, you're like, yes. So it's really just, you know, processing every move you make out there and trying to kind of equalize everything. But right now, talk about being comfortable. Second year on this bike, second year on the Baker Factory program, jumping through the whoops, not something typically you see out of Aaron Plessinger, which means his toolbox is opening up. So it's good to see, man, because I think AP has a really, really big year coming. He needs to be impressive this year, and it's a good chance he does it. His mood is good, but honestly, Dan, when is it not? This is a good way to start it.
Monster Energy 450 SX Group A qualifying fueled by AM/PM. So yellow flags are out. We're not sure who that is. Aaron Plessinger on that Red Bull KTM. A lot of people rooting for this guy. He's also a guy who's been plagued with some injuries and having some trouble, and that was a new bike for him last year as well.
Yeah, you talk about those injuries, and look, the sport is tough. Injuries is part of the game, but it's the timing of the injuries that really mattered for Aaron Plessinger. Every single time he's been able to get going and get some confidence, and you feel the momentum, that's when the injury is hit. So I just want him to get past that and get on a roll, keep that roll, and let's see what he can really do on the motorcycle. And he's got to get better timing with things, and when things are going well, got to keep them well.
We're trying to see who it was. It looked like Jason Anderson might have been the one who fell. We'll see if we can get a replay of who went down. I see the AMA and the flag crew with their yellow flags flying off the track and cleared now. Looking good, but it is Aaron Plessinger holding on. Coming up on 6 minutes, 55 seconds here. This is Group A qualifying for the 450s, the first official qualifying of 2023. Aaron Plessinger, the number 7 on that Red Bull KTM. Malcolm Stewart now moves up into second, right behind AP. And Dylan Ferrandis, the number 14, on that Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing bike. We know that Ferrandis can do really good in qualifying, but in terms of starts, that is what you were mentioning. That's kind of been an issue for him. That's something he needs to straighten out here in 2023.
Yeah, his 450 Supercross career has not gone well, but I think people are sleeping on him this year. And I mean, that's what happens when you put together a couple years in a row where you're maybe not living up to expectations. People kind of forget. But Dylan Ferrandis is a 2-time 250 Supercross champion, a pro motocross champion, and I think he's due for a breakout year. Speaking of breakout, how about breaking out on top? 103.2 by Eli Tomac. And for a lot of people right now that are questioning how he's going to look on that new motorcycle, well, we'll get a chance to see him a lot this year, but right out of the top to get up front like that, that's got to feel good for him and the Yamaha team.
And look who just displaced him, the 23 of Chase Sexton. This is a battle we have been talking about. Sexton, it was in the outdoors, epic battle in the Nationals outdoors, and now here we go. Early on, Chase Sexton on the Honda HRC against your reigning champ, Eli Tomac. Marvin Muscan coming up, only KTM rider to win a main event last year.
Yeah, and they're hoping that all three can get on top of the box this year, but it's good to see Ken Roczen on that Suzuki. It's a familiar look. I mean, I remember watching him on an 85, a little Suzuki RM85 back in Germany, and I was like, man, this guy's pretty good. I'll bet he'll turn into something. Well, he's Ken Roczen now, and when I see him on that Suzuki, that 94 on the Suzuki, it just looks right to me, and he says the same thing. He says when he walks into the truck and he looks at it, he says it just feels like home, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year and maybe shut up some of the haters because they're out there, and I think he's set on doing that this year. He's motivated to do that.
Well, and he's got history to prove it. His last 450 championship was on a Suzuki.
Yeah, and let's be honest, he's the best A1 rider in history. He's won this race 4 times in his career. Nobody has been able to match that. So if we're just focused on this day alone, there's nobody better than Ken Roczen. So it's going to be fun to see how he adapts to that Suzuki and if he can do it quick.
And he's up into the top 5, the 94 there in 4th, but it is Marvin Muscan on that Red Bull KTM in 1st place overall. So Marvin, just like Cooper Webb, just like Aaron Plessinger, has had plenty of time, especially in the offseason, to get this bike sorted out.
Yeah.
And he's on a Supercross-only contract, so maybe a little less pressure on this guy, more fun on the bike, more time to open it up.
Well, I think he's at this point in his career where just go out and ride your best, and if you win a race, which he's done now the last couple of seasons in a row, good. But I don't think there's like a standard and an expectation. I think he just wants to try his best, and if it's going well, keep racing. And seems to be working for him. I mean, he won last year a Triple Crown race. He won Salt Lake City 2 years ago, and got a chance to see him in the offseason. He looked great. So, I mean, he's just a super talented rider, and as long as he's happy and motivated and putting up good results, I think we see him for years to come. It really depends on where he is at the end of the year, if he's still going fast and feels up to it.
Eli Tomac back up on top. And again, displaced by Sexton. So here it comes. This is what we're looking for this year. This back and forth between Sexton and Tomac, like we saw in the outdoor series, and to a certain extent last year. Sexton had some great races, but this year even more, the anticipation of seeing Chase and Eli go at it should be good. Adam Cianciarillo, the number 9 on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. Great to see this guy back in action. And again, had some problems with his ulnar nerve in his elbow. But, man, have you seen anybody work hard or go through more to get back on this track than anyone recently?
I don't. I mean, they all work so hard. They all have to come back from things. But this guy's
another
come back
level,
multiple
right?
times
yeah.
from things. So, I think everybody's with Adam right now. Everyone wants to see him have a great year. And he's just got to get started. That's all. Just come out and finish the race, do the best you can, and build into this thing and rebuild his confidence. I mean, this is a guy who's got every single piece of the puzzle. He's just got to put together a solid month. If he can get through January solid, I think he's off to the races, but that's got to be the expectation for him. You don't got to be anything better than that. Well, where'd he go?
We lost him.
He may have gone down in that corner, which...
Yeah, yellow flags are out. Well, hopefully he's doing all right.
Yep,
he's back up on his bike, and we can actually get to see what happened.
He's got to be careful. You don't want to string together a pattern. He went down in that free practice, now in this one, and don't want to make that a trend. Eli Tomac looks really good. And, it's been a big mystery. How's he going to look on this new Yamaha? The bike's a lot skinnier. There's some big changes to the chassis, and you're hearing different rumors in the offseason. First, you're hearing he loves the bike. Then you're hearing he's struggling with the bike. And then you hear he loves it again. So a lot of mixed messaging. I think we hear that a lot in December from a lot of these guys. But my first impression is good. He was solid in free practice, looked comfortable. He comes out in this first qualifier, and he's the first guy to the first corner. And you don't typically do that unless you feel comfortable. So great start by Eli Tomac and Chase Sexton. I mean, 1-2. Picking up right where they left off this summer, Dan. Pro Motocross was insane watching those two go at it, and here they are,
great.
1-2.
For the 250 West, we got Forkner and Lawrence in this rematch. Jet Lawrence, and now the rematch of Sexton and Tomac carrying through from outdoors, and that sets us up for not just Supercross, but the entire Super Motocross World Championship, where these two potentially, we don't know about Eli yet. We'll find more out from Lee Diffie a little bit later on today, who's able to meet with Eli and talk to him on his chat with the Champions TV show on NBC Sports. So I'll be curious to see what he has to say, but you never know. Things, like you said earlier, you never know what could happen with Jet Lawrence possibly getting on a 450. We don't know. We're hoping so, and we're hoping that this rivalry will go all the way through. Right now, it is Musquin back up on top. Marv. So Marv finding something good with that KTM this year and finding it early. Pretty cool to see him up there, and this could affect your Rocky Mountain SX fantasy picks. Take a look. Again, just first round of qualifying. We'll get to see the second round as it comes up. But good to see AC9 back up and comfortable aboard that Kawasaki.
Yeah, Marvin Musquin, 101.2, great lap. And he has won the opener before, so he's a guy who's been able to, elevate himself to the top of the podium with the bright lights on at Anaheim. So come out firing like this and have the history of winning this race. I mean, it's Anaheim. You never know who's going to win. That's the beauty of the first race of the year. Everyone's done so much work, and this is the first test of many. And I love that there's this many guys that are showing something right now. Plessinger, hey, great start. Marvin, great start. Cooper Webb in 7th. How about that? You don't see him typically inside the top 10. And then Eli Tomac, again, also not someone who usually comes out at Anaheim on fire, but to be 3rd in this first qualifying session, I think they're going to feel real good about that back at the truck. So it's fun, man. I can't wait for this thing to to get going, and we get a real gate drop. But great first impression by a lot of riders.
Checkered flag is out, by the way, so time is up here. The 10 minutes over the first round. They'll be able to finish the final lap, as we mentioned earlier, that they're on. A little look at Malcolm Stewart there as well. Let's see where Stewart ranks overall in 6th right now. And again, Plessinger still hanging on in the top 5 to that 4th spot. He was out front early on. So it'll be fun to watch what happens, but as time runs out, it does look like Marvin Musquin so far today will be your fastest qualifier. Last time Musquin was fastest in a session was Arlington, round 10 of 2021. Way back, so too cool to see that happen right now, and looks like they may have found something with that bike, at least Marv has. Let's take a look here at your qualifying results for Group 1 450, round 1. Marvin Musquin, Red Bull KTM, up on front, the number 25, followed by Chase Sexton. That nice battle early on with Eli Tomac and himself. Aaron Plessinger in 4th. Christian Craig, look at that, not a rookie. We'll talk about that. Or is he a rookie? We're going to decide in just a little bit. The number 28 of Christian Craig. Malcolm Stewart in 7th. Cooper Webb, Barsha Anderson, and Roxon. We'll be back to talk to Marvin Musquin in just a bit.
All-new Yamaha YZ450F. Narrower, more compact, and lighter. Built to do one thing: go faster.
What's it like? Always knowing the truth.
I could just tell.
When anyone is lying.
I think there's been a murder. Look out! I have been kind of a death magnet. I'm trying to figure out what happened.
You ever gamble? Because you can make a killing.
Nah.
Well, that was an exciting qualifying session. We had a good old battle on the time clock, setting fast time, Marvin Musquin. Marvin, progression throughout that qualifying was the name of the game. What were you finding, and how did you adapt?
Well, it's funny because usually when the track's so rough like this, the fastest lap times comes at the beginning of the session, and actually this time I did it at the very end. I knew if I would put the whole track together, I could be first, because I did get a good time at the beginning of the session. I was first, and then I dropped to 3rd or 4th, I guess. And then after that, I knew if I put everything together and just the way I know how to ride, I could have be on top. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know. I mean, there is a stacked field, but, you know, practice and lap times qualifier, it definitely comes with the technique. It doesn't mean anything for the race tonight, but it's always cool to be first in practice and enjoying the rough conditions.
Well, the evening is off to a great start. Marvin Musquin setting a fast time for 450 SX.
Great to see Marvin up there, and always good intel from him. I love it because he talks probably more than anybody, but we get inside information, what's going on in his head, what's happening with the track and his bike. And speaking of the track, he said it's a bit rough out there. Every year, every round, Yamaha gives us a track preview where you can see what it's like to be a racer behind the ribbon, and we're going to look at it right now. Daniel, why don't you break it down for us?
Well, I like that it's busy. When I saw the track maps come out, man, I'm like a little kid. I've done this my whole life. I always go through every single track, and I kind of try to evaluate. The first thing I thought of was, wow, they are really making the first round busy. And I like the rhythm sections back and forth. This obviously a little bit of a change right here with the triple. But for the most part, it's long. The lap times we just saw, I mean, they're over a minute long for Marvin in the 101s. I like that. I like the soil. I think it's going to work in just great. But it's busy, and I think it's got 5 or 6 bowl corners, which to me creates passing opportunities. That's where you can be really aggressive and get up inside somebody. So it's cool. A short set of whoops, though. I mean, they have 2 sets. Both are kind of short, which I think is going to be okay for the first round. I don't think you come right out and give them a 14 or 15 whoop set of real deep, gnarly ones. So I really like the opening round having 2 smaller sets. And then these 2 rhythm sections right now are causing havoc, and it's because of the bottom transitions, but it will get better. And once they get smoothed out, you're going to see guys go a lot faster, stay a lot lower, be a lot more aggressive in those sections. But busy track, lots of ruts. It's going to be a good one to kick things off.
Tough for the racers, great for the fans, great for us. I want to welcome everybody watching on Peacock and Peacock Premium here, our home for not just Monster Energy Supercross, but Outdoor Nationals as well, and our 3 playoffs in the end of the year. I also want to welcome everybody on the Video Pass who are watching internationally all over the world. Welcome, great to have you here. We're bringing you the feed from A1 Anaheim, the first round, and we're going to get to Group B qualifying for the 450s. They're going to line up on the gate. And man, this is so cool to be back here watching these riders hit it. We got 3 groups in both 450s and 250 West, A, B, and C. So a lot of riders showing up, a lot of privateers on their own dime coming out with the Sprinter van, loading up in the Fan Fest, hanging out with the fans, and then coming out to race.
Yeah, and for the 450 Group B and Group C riders, good luck. Have some fun if you can. This track right now is tough. You just saw Marvin talk about how it was getting a little tougher and tougher, even though he was able to find some speed late. But it's just so ruddy right now, and it's one of those tracks where the more aggressive you are, the harder you ride, you're probably going to have more problems. So just be smooth, be clean, and if you can, separate the track. And when you get some of those easier sections, bring out your aggression. And then some of those more difficult technical sections, just be nice and smooth. And if you can go back and forth and kind of bring it when you need to and then be more patient when you don't need to, you're going to put together fast laps. And a guy I expect to have really fast ones right now is right here, Justin Hill. I'm such a fan of Justin Hill. He's a 250 champion in years past. And when I heard months ago that he was going to come back and put a full effort together, I was so excited because he's one of the most talented riders in the field. And you're going to get a chance to see that right now.
And one of the nicest dudes out there, man. He took a break, retired, and actually became an officer, a sheriff, and decided to come back in and talked about his respect for our first responders, police department, sheriff's department, what they go through, the things they have to deal with. And he was blown away by the men and women in the first responder line of business in terms of the sheriff's department. And so he's got a lot of respect for them, but he's grateful to be back and riding again. And you can expect this guy with his speed, even though he's been off a little while, maybe he'll get out of the B group and move up to the A group in the next round or two.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he should have a great showing here at Anaheim 1 and then be on his way. And that's the big challenge right now. When you're in Group B and Group C, there's 2 things going against you. Number 1, the track's at its most difficult. And number 2, for someone like Justin Hill, you're going to be riding with riders that you're probably 2, maybe 3 seconds a lap faster than. So to get a fast lap together is hard. You're kind of going in and out, weaving through those guys. So if he can come out here, get in the main event, get in the top 20, he'll move to Group A when we move to Oakland. Then he'll be able to ride the pace of those faster guys. You won't be having to take odd lines just to put together a lap. So for Justin Hill, you've got to have a great A1 to get out of this group and get into Group A where he belongs.
Joan Cross on the 848 up on top here for Group B. I talked to him last year. He said he was done. He's from Spain. He's multiple Spanish champion out there, and so he wasn't going to come back, but I guess he decided to come back, and so far, I know it's early in this round of qualifying, but he's looking good. The 848 is the man to catch. Hurt his hand last year, unfortunately, when he was about to race the Pulp MX Privateer Challenge and wasn't able to do it, and he was kind of seated number 1, so a bit of a disappointment for him, but that guy has a great attitude, and good to have that international flavor back again in Joan Cross representing the great country of Spain. 74, Logan Carnow, industrious, amazing privateer, working really hard, getting new sponsors, interesting sponsors, different sponsors to help him in his effort. Now he wants to make them proud, get a bunch of coverage, do well, get into the night show, make it into that main event.
He should be really proud of himself. I mean, I watched him race up, some smaller races in years past, and I was like, man, that guy's really talented. He's a good rider and gets himself into Supercross. It's getting better and better. And now to see national number 74, the results he was able to put down last year, earning points towards that number, I mean, he's just done a fantastic job over the last year or two. So excited to see where he goes. Here's Grant Harlan. He was racing the General Tire Arena Cross Series, over the last month or so on a 250 Honda. Then he switches over to a Yamaha 450 for Supercross. So a little back and forth there. That's a challenge, but excited to see what he can do this year too. He's been working really, really hard down in Texas and in Oklahoma, putting his laps in, and it's exciting for these privateer guys to come out and try to make a great impression at the opening round. So keep an eye on Harlan, keep an eye on Carnow. These are guys that have earned a spot here in the 450 Group B, and guys that I think could also be up in the A group if they have a good A1.
Brandon Char on the 410, up on top. Nope, Justin Hill, the 46, just like that, 2 seconds above everybody else in this class, a 106.303 compared to Brandon Char's 108.536. So it is Justin Hill making a statement early here, trying to move into that A group, like we said. And I think he can make that happen. Harlan in third, Marquier in fourth. Joanne Cross now rounding out your top 5. John Short, number 73 on the screen right now, down in 9th place with just over 5 minutes left to move his way up into the top 5 if he can make that happen.
Yeah, it's good for John Short to be here and make a full effort this year in the 450. And I have high expectations for him as well. I think he's a great rider, and he's coming into this season with a good work ethic and a good foundation. And he's a USMCA coach too, so this is a guy who not only races the motorcycle, but he coaches young riders and fast riders. And I think for a rider, when you are a coach, it helps you remind yourself of some of the things that you're teaching. You're like, man, I haven't been doing that. I maybe need to sharpen up on my own teaching. So for someone like John Short, I mean, he's well-rounded. The package is solid, and the foundation's there. So excited to see what he could do in 2023.
It's going to be fun. Excited to go out to the Fan Fest. We're going to give you a taste of the Fan Fest if you're not here. Talk about international flavor right now. Haley, you got someone from far away that we want to interview at the Yamaha rig.
I sure do, and it is a blast to be down here in FanFest. Joining me is Calvin Vlanderen from MXGP. How much fun are you having here at A1?
It's my first time actually watching Supercross, so I'm just loving it. It's so sick to be here and experience it all. I feel like a little kid, you know, going to his first little Grand Prix.
Well, it's so great to have you out here. Tell us, how much are you enjoying this off-season? What have you been up to?
I've just been, you know, learning the new bike. We got a full new 450 Yamaha, which I've been putting in some hours on, and obviously been in the gym, been on the bicycle, putting in the hours in training, and yeah, just trying to put in the work for our upcoming season.
Well, it looks like you've been having fun as well, out riding for fun earlier this week. Now, here at Anaheim 1, let me ask you, do you have some picks for tonight?
Obviously I do, you know. I got to put the Yamaha boy, Tomac, he's my number 1 pick for the night. I got Anderson in second and Sexton in third. That's my top 3 for the night, yeah.
Solid picks. Well, Calvin Vlanderen, have a great time tonight. Thank you so much for joining us here at A1.
Calvin making some picks there. Thanks, Haley. Always cool to see what's going on in the Fan Fest. Seeing a champ like that walk around, hanging out. That's what you get when you get to the Fan Fest. I love being out in the Fan Fest. I'm going to try and go after we're done here in between this and the night show and check it out. But
he went with the safe picks there too. He picked the top 3 guys from the Outdoor Nationals. He picked the 3 guys that won 15 of the 17 rounds last year. So if he's a gambling man, he plays it safe, because those are probably the 3 most likely guys to be up front this year. So good picks by him. I think industry-wide everyone agrees those 3 are going to be fast. I can't wait to see what Cooper Webb can do. The chip on her shoulder is back. So 2023 is going to be so good. And just hearing a guy like him, who I respect a lot, have his own perspective and his own picks, it just gets me ready.
I think how excited he is to be here at A1, right? Or any Supercross race. His first time at a Supercross race. And if you haven't been yet, make sure you go to supercrosslive.com, get tickets, come on, hang out with us all day long. We're here, I think usually doors open at 12 o'clock, depending on the stop you're at. And you get to hang out, Lurch and the Bull, talking over qualifying, and then we come on for race day live. And then you get to hang out in the Fan Fest. I think freestyle motocross competition going out in the Fan Fest today. I'm excited to see some highlights for that and see some of the best in the world getting upside down on their bikes over 70-foot gap, doing unbelievable tricks. So always exciting in the Fan Fest, and of course the Monster Energy rig and the crew building that out there for Monster Energy family. Monster Girls hanging out. Get your picture of the Monster Girls. So many cool things to do in the Fan Fest. Just a blast. Justin Hill still up on top, number 46 with that 106.303. He laid down earlier, running out of time for the rest of the riders in this round 1 of qualifying for 450 Group B. About 1 minute 44 seconds left or so. And again, to get to finish their lap and take it all the way to the checkered flag on this. We're going to pull their fastest lap that they can pull and see if they can best it in the second round of qualifying. The 140 of Alex Ray up in second, right behind Justin Hill with a 106.846. Joan Cross now moves up into third on that 848. Our Spanish champion. So he's picking it up. Grant Harlan in fourth, and Chase Martier there in fifth, rounding out your top 5.
The other Hill, Josh Hill. We talk about talent. Justin Hill, Josh Hill, those boys, they just coming out of Oregon. If you see the track that they rode growing up, you would understand. I mean, these guys have so much skill, and They had the gnarliest practice track growing up, and if you want to be good at Supercross, hit them up. Ask them how they did it, because both these boys have a lot of skill and have had awesome careers. So it's good to see them both back racing here in 2023.
Dude, he will ride skate parks, which I'm all for, by the way. I'm a BMX guy. When I hit the skate park and I tool around, have some fun, do some carves. This guy, he had a video came out, he'll ride it. He will ride it. And you talk about bike control, it's unbelievable what that guy is capable of. And it started with his pops, famous freestyle BMXer who used to blast 10, 12-foot airs over a quarter pipe. Monty out there, Monty Hill back in the day for the AFA. And so these guys, he got them into motorcycle riding. That was one of his passions. And his two boys have really lit it up.
Running 1-3 right now in Group B of the 450. So good start to the season for them. Again, just qualifying, but trying to lay down that foundation, doing it here in qualifying. 37 at Gardner, running 11th right now with a 109.5 in this session, and trying to learn this track. See how much time is lost when you don't get those triples in the rhythm section. That's the hard part right now, is just piecing this track together. And if you can actually put the track together and just do all the obstacles without any issues, no big mistakes, it's like 2 or 3 seconds. So that's the challenge for a lot of these guys in Group B. Just, can you get the triples? Can you do them every lap? Can you do them all together on one lap? If you do, you're at the top of the leaderboard. And if you're not, you're battling there in the 8 to 12 range. So like a pretty solid lap by Gardner. Didn't go up, stayed at the 109.5, but that's because, again, the obstacles, wasn't able to put them all together on that lap.
Checkered flag is out. They'll be able to finish their final lap here, and we'll go to Group C qualifying for the 450 after that. Gardner from Paso Robles, so Central Coast. Kind of probably hit those NorCal races up by you when you were living. Now you've transferred from California out to South Carolina. That's a big move for you, bud.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic, right? I went from California to South Carolina, but no, it's been awesome for me and my family, and it changes things in January. Normally I'm just flying down to SoCal, nice quick trip down here, but cross country now, so it's really exciting. Big difference, though.
Big difference. I believe it. Well, here we are in Cali once again. 450 Group B qualifying done. That is round 1. We got a whole other round coming up in just a little bit. We'll look at the results, but I do believe Justin Hill was able to hang on to that top spot. Let's check it out. Indeed, the 46 of Justin Hill with that 106.303. Grant Harlan right behind him, 106.657. A-Ray in there, 106.846. Josh Hill, 106.947. Joan Cross with a 107.307. So there they are, your top 16 in Group B qualifying. We'll be back with more qualifying here in Anaheim 2023. Let's roll.
All right, Chase, number 23, it's 2023. This championship's yours. Let's show these guys what's up.
Easy, boys. It's not over yet. Big dog still gotta eat.
Whatever you say, big dog. Seriously? These fools think I'm fried?
They know the deal.
Get ready for RM Fantasy SX, the ultimate Monster Energy Supercross Fantasy Challenge. From RockyMountainATVMC.com, we're giving away over $100,000 in prizes. And the best part is, it's completely free to play. Top season prizes include a customized KTM 450 SXF, a KTM 250 SX with Race Tech custom suspension and other extras, a KTM SX E5, a Stay-Stick stability cycle with accessories, a $2,500 spending spree, and more. 6th through 10th place season winners will be awarded prizes from top brands like Alpine Stars, Motion Pro, Fly Racing, Milestone Video Games, and Oakley. And that's just the beginning. 100 prizes will be given away to the top scoring players from each round of Monster Energy Supercross. Just sign up on our secure game site, make your picks, and even get into group play to maximize the fun. To get your game on and for more details, sign up today at rmfantasysx.com. To be eligible for prizes, you must be 18 years of age or older. See full rules on website.
This isn't a vacation, it's a quarantine.
We're the only people around here.
Who is that guy?
You have a mask, don't you?
Are you kidding me?
I'm a regular guy that got caught up in extraordinary circumstances.
Audrey?
Let's cut there.
He's gonna play himself?
Wow, that's weird.
People want more than just a career path. They want a career with a purpose, which is what you'll find in the U.S. Air Force. From developing new technologies to saving lives, you can serve full-time or part-time in or out of uniform. Learn more at airforce.com. So many great sponsors helping us out. Partners, I should say, and supporting this sport that we love so much. Great to have them on board and many others. But, dude, this is it. What do you think so far?
I think it's a little messy out there, and you're seeing riders making a lot of mistakes. And even the ones that are being pretty successful here early, they're making mistakes too. So it's just trying to tie this track together right now. But the big picture is the track's going to change. The next qualifying round will be a little bit better, and by the time we go racing tonight, it'll be a lot different. So I think for these riders, they're trying to get their footing and lay a foundation. That's hard to do, though, on a track that's really difficult and changing every lap.
And I don't know if it's too early to talk about it, but I was looking at the weather report for Oakland next week, and it is looking like rain all week in. I don't know if they're getting a little taste of the conditions. I think it's going to be a completely different animal in Oakland next
I'd like
week.
to just stay positive with what we have here in Anaheim. Mother Nature came to play this week, and then she walked away for the weekend.
All right.
She's going to let us do this thing, so let's just stick with Anaheim
We've
now.
had that in years past, and then someone like me goes out and says it and brings the. I just need to keep my mouth shut and let it roll. That's how it is.
Fingers crossed, everybody.
I am excited about Oakland. It's not too far. If you still have a chance to come up and join us in Oakland, it'll be next week, and it will be a fun race. Guaranteed, rain or shine, it's going down. 450 Group C qualifying round number 1. For these riders, again, they had 10 minutes on the track a little bit earlier. First time to go all out. And I want to go to Haley Shanley. And I thought we had a problem with Jason Anderson, I should say, had a problem on the track. So she's over at the Kawasaki rig. What can you tell us about Jason Anderson?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was a tough break for Jason Anderson, but he is all right. I was speaking with mechanics, and it sounds like even after he got back up, he threw down an even faster time. So Jason Anderson's all right. He's just chilling right now in the trailer. But what we have going on behind me, the mechanics actually swapped his handlebars. Appeared to be some damage from that crash, but as you can tell, it didn't take away any speed in his qualifying session.
That is good intel. He swapped the handlebars, so the handlebars had a problem, whether they were bent, whatever was going wrong with them, who knows, calipers, levers fallen or getting knocked down, still comes out with the bars like that and gets a faster lap time. Does that tell you something?
Yeah, it tells me that Jason Anderson is ready to go. For him to be able to get up and be a little twisted and still be able to show some speed, that's good. But it's just good for him that that's all it was, because, again, you're trying to get through these first sessions and lay that foundation without any big mistakes, and he had one there. So for him to be okay physically and only the bike got a little bit of it, that's okay. His team, they'll get to work, they'll clean things up, but as long as he is physically okay, it's not a big deal.
That's the number one thing for sure. Lane Shaw in this one, the 129 from Texas, saw him racing quite a bit last year. Coming out for Group C here in Anaheim. Be fun to watch that go down. Josh Cartwright is in the mix, Richard Taylor, Jared Lesher. Who else? Lots of great riders here in Group C. Alexander Nagy is back. Piazza's back. Ashley, Scotty Wennerstrom is in the mix as well. That's the 129 right there that you are looking at of Lane Shaw. Texas boy done good. Another guy who hustles, does a great job, has a lot of support from friends and family and partners and sponsors who help him out as well. So it'll be fun to see what Lane can do this year.
He's a great spirits too. I had a chance to hang out with him Thursday night and just kind of vibe, right? Read the room a little bit. What's his mode like? How's he feeling? And he seems up. He just seems positive and fired up to go racing. Saw him this morning, gave me a wave in the pits, and the mood is good with Lane Shaw. He looks great on the bike right now, and that's always important too. When you have a good off season, you come to the opening round and keep it light, keep it, try to stay happy the best you can, because it's tough out there. But if the mood is right, usually the riding will follow, and he seems to be in a great place right now coming into 2023.
All right, well, hey, we want to go right now. We're going to keep the sidebox going. Lurch was able to catch up with Mitch Payton, talk about the bikes, the teams, the riders, and all the good stuff going on at Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki.
Well, guys, there's a lot of talk about new bikes coming out. Eli Tomac on the Yamaha. Last year it was Husky and KTM. One man who's been through a lot of changes on bikes, the guru of motorcycles, along Mitch Payton with Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. What is the biggest challenge when a new bike comes out?
Probably the biggest challenge, I think, even for us or any of the manufacturers, is that, you get something brand new, you need a lot of spare parts to test with. We need to build development parts, and like right now, or actually since COVID, like the lead times for us to get parts is a lot longer. So like everything we order has to be done, like, probably 3 or 4 weeks earlier than we used to do it, and you might not be ready to order it, so the lead time's longer. And like even right now, we probably don't have everything that we've ordered, but we're good enough to go, and we're fine, and we'll just go with it.
You know, lead times when it comes to shipping, but a lot of times even manufacturing, that stuff's way off for you.
Well, the manufacturing is worse for us, you know, because we send out for a lot of parts, you know, with our pistons and our valve springs and valves and like camshafts, everything that has to get built outside after we have one that works. So we do all the development, we'll come up with something, and then we want to order for racing, and that's everything is pushed back so long that you just got to like really try to get it done quick, get it on order, and then all their lead times, because everybody's in the same boat, like everybody's just behind.
Well, I got to say, a lot of it is getting the rider accustomed to the bike, but a lot goes a lot deeper than that.
Mitch Payton, big decision. We'll talk about that a little bit later to bring Fortner and McAdoo in to compete with Jet Lawrence. We're going to dig in deeper in just a little bit, but if anyone knows what he's doing, it's that guy, and I believe they just found out Christmas Eve, something like that. He waited aside to declare who was going to go east and west, and
that's early for them.
Fortner had no problem with it. He was asked in the press conference, that bug you to have it so late in the year, early for them maybe, and that's how he said. He said, I'm ready no matter what. McAdoo said the same thing. I'm here to race regardless if it's going to be east or west. He said he could have told me I'm going east, I would have been ready for west. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're anticipating, be ready to roll, and I think that's a good philosophy for any pro motocross or supercross rider.
Well, with Mitch Payton, Pro Circuit, what he likes to do is tell his riders, all of you, be ready for Anaheim 1. That gives him options going into the season of which rider he feels is ready. And just in case there's an injury, the other guys have to be ready. I mean, we saw that with Jet Lawrence last year. He was going to race the West Coast and come out at Anaheim and had an injury right before the season, and Hunter Lawrence, his brother, had to come right in and be ready. And that's a challenging thing when you're not expected to be ready for a championship. So what Mitch likes to do, and a lot of these teams do, is say, hey, all of you, be ready to go at Anaheim, and then I'll make my decision right before. And I think Christmas, I mean, this is the earliest Mitch he's ever given his riders time to prepare. As Cameron McAdoo and Austin Forkner said, it didn't matter for them. They were ready, and I'm sure Seth Hamaker and Joe Shimoda on the other side, I'm sure they would be ready to race now too, but they'll get a few more weeks, and then we'll see him in Houston.
Hey, and that's no walk in the park. They got to deal with Jet's brother, Hunter Lawrence, who is also just on fire right now. Came away with a big second last year after he stepped up early. I think it was 6 weeks early. The West started prior to the East. He was ready, wound up second overall, right behind Christian Craig. 4 main event wins, too. Tied his brother, tied Christian Craig. They all had 4 last year, and Jet gets a lot of attention, but we're going to have to keep an eye on Hunter Lawrence because I don't care whether you send your riders to East or West. They got to deal with the Lawrence brothers on either coast.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to Hunter Lawrence when we get to Houston, but it's a big year for him. I think he's going to be primed for a big one.
And it's only 4 weeks. I think Austin Fortner talked about that. The difference between starting now and starting, the round comes up 4.5 weeks, so it's not exactly as big as it was in years past. The gap is smaller this year. We're going to come to East pretty quick, like you said, in Houston.
Yeah, every year is different depending on the schedule, but when it came out this year, I noticed that there are only 4 250 West rounds before we get to Houston. So once February rolls along, we'll see the 250 East get started.
Josh Cartwright up on top on the 5:19 with a 108.311. Again, Group C going up against B and A as well. The 146 on your screen right now, seeing if he can pull it out.
It's a good time for Cartwright and Shaw to get under 110. This track is so tough right now, and just trying to piece it all together and get a clean lap and be 108. Look at, you see Taylor right there with the 108.2. And it's really good at this point in the day, and they'll come around for the next session. It's going to be a lot different, but the first time these guys get a chance to ride the track in pristine conditions will be tonight for their 450 Heat 1 and 450 Heat 2. So a lot of challenges here early, and then should get better for them as the night goes on. But I'm super impressed for them to be under 110 right now, knowing that they're within 10 seconds of Marvin Musquin and that 101 that he put down. And, you think that's a long time, but for some of these guys in 450 Group B and C, to be within 10 seconds of a Marvin Musquin on a track like this is really impressive. So shout out to Taylor and Cartwright. Looks like Lesher just got in there. He's on a 2-stroke. That's cool to see. 108.5. So good times for these guys.
5:12 on screen right now. Austin Kozad right there. He's 13th overall in Group C qualifying 450. Not to worry, he's got another 10 minutes coming up in the second round of qualifying. Right now, we're down to about 1 minute 30 seconds in this first round of qualifying for 450 Group C. Again, Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship, the inaugural race here, starting with qualifying for the Super Motocross World Championship. And I want to talk a little about SMX Insider with you and Jason Wygant coming up. That is fun. I've already seen a number of episodes with you too, and that's going to continue through the full year. On Wednesday, get to hang out in the middle of the week. You get to keep going on with the SMX topics at hand.
That's right. I love working with Jason Wygant. He'll be the voice of the Pro Motocross Championship this summer, but for me and him to come together on that show and break down the sport, it's just two guys bench racing and loving this thing. And we've had a great month leading up to the championship, but now it's real. We got races to talk about, and it's going to be a lot of fun to continue that show. That is the SMX Insider Show every Thursday on YouTube. So check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun this week when we break down Anaheim 1.
I'm excited. It's going to be a blast. It's already been a blast to watch, and boy, that and Main Event Moto Podcast, that's going to be fun to listen to as well. So many cool places to get your information. Go to supercrosslive.com for more information on what's going on, and especially to get your tickets to every single round here in 2023. So it is Cartwright on the 519 up on top as time runs out. We'll get a checker flag here in just a moment. Taylor behind him, Lesher, Shaw, lights him there in the top 5. Alexander Nagy, Kerr, Winterstrom, Marley, Piazza, Raper, Buller, Ashley, and Kozad trying to make up some time here and figure out this track. And again, as the clock runs out and we go to a checkered flag, thanks to the AMA, they're going to have about half the time now to figure it out as they did before they got on track earlier. Exactly 1/3 to be correct if you count the free practice that went down at the very beginning of the session at 12 o'clock. So that is it. Flag is up. Let's take a look at our results here from the AMA. Always doing a fantastic job, and they help us out in the booth with all the timing, and you as well at home. There it is. Josh Cartwright up on top, 107.254. Richard Taylor, 108.210. Jared Lesher, Shaw, lights are there in the top 5. Nagy, Kerr, Winterstrom, Marley, and Piazza, and the rest trying to find a little extra speed out here, and they'll get a chance to do it coming up in the second round of qualifying later on today and in the show. Hey, well, Eli Tomac, these guys are actually competing with Eli Tomac in that Group C class. Eli Tomac, what a year he had in 2022, both outdoors, indoors. Let's take a look at some of his numbers that he posted up in the past year.
The 450 made in Anaheim. 39th career victory for Norlington goes to Eli Tomac. Eli Tomac is a 6-time Daytona Supercross winner. Tomac claims the victory in the Motor City. It's Eli Tomac that dominates in Indy. Tomac gets 5 in a row and wins in Seattle. He is the Monster Energy AMA Supercross champion. Here's the checker flag for Eli Tomac.
Absolutely stellar year, and if you want to get the inside scoop from Eli Tomac, you might get a hold of these two guys, Ricky Carmichael, the GOAT, and Lee Diffie. They'll be on the broadcast tonight on the USA Network. You'll be able to check them out. And Lee, I got to watch your chat with the Champions programs from F1 to Supercross and everything in between. You talked to the greatest of the great, and you got a chance to actually talk to Eli Tomac before the season started.
Yeah, hi Dan, hi Daniel. Happy New Year to you guys and to everybody watching wherever you are around the country or around the world. It's great to be here at A1 and get this inaugural season of the Super Motocross World Championship underway. I think that chat with Eli was very frank. It was very honest. He's at a really great place in his life. He's extremely happy. I kind of trying to peel back a few layers there and just get to him as to, you know, why keep going? What's that motivation? You know, like what is it? Do you want to try and defend the Supercross champion like you've done multiple times in the Pro Motocross Championship in the outdoors? What is it? Do you want to get up there and eclipse this guy standing beside me as far as Supercross wins and James Stewart and climb that ladder? So I think there's a variety of motivations there, but it comes down to the simple fact that he feels good, he's riding well, and he's going to do this Monster Energy Supercross season.
Ricky, you've been in the position where you're late in your career, you're still competitive, but you know the exit is coming. What's Eli Tomac going through right now as his career is starting to wind down, but still has that competitive fire where he wants to be a title How do you balance those two emotions?
Well, that's a great question, Daniel. And I think if you're Eli Tomac, you just got to come in. I feel like the pressure is off. Yes, there's the pressure of defending the championship, of course, but he seems so content with his 2 children and his wife, and he's in a good place. The bike is phenomenal. He's working really well with the team as well. So I think he's in a happy place. And if this is his last season, I feel like, you come and you know it's your last season. It's easy to do the work just because you know that the end is in sight. And if he goes and does the same thing that he's always done, I think he has just as good of a chance to win as he did last year. I go back to last year. He didn't win as many races as he has in seasons past, but he had the whole package. He was consistent. He got great starts on better starts on an average performance, if you look at it that way. And it's just really, really incredible. And you can see he's content. That's what, at least that's what I see. And I go back to when I was in his position, Lee. It's just my final year, everything just seemed so easy. Now, the difference was on my final season, I wasn't racing for a championship. But in 2006, when I was racing for a championship, I just knew that it was so easy to give my all because I knew it was the last time I was ever going to race for a title.
And you appreciate all too well what he has gone through. And that is when you are a champion, when you've achieved so much, guys, what else is there left to challenge you? And that challenge was a change of team and a change of manufacturer. Now let's see what I can do with this move. Well, the proof's in the pudding with those 2 championships, both in Monster Energy Supercross and Pro Motocross. So I guess he's kind of racing and competing against himself this year as well as everybody else out there. But what does that next layer look like? What does that next benchmark look like for him? And we get to enjoy it. And it all starts here tonight.
Well, Lee, you mentioned he adapted that change fantastically. He did an amazing job adapting those huge changes that could throw any number of racers off. And one of the changes he's got to deal with this year, we talked about it earlier, is that new bike. Yamaha, brand new bike this year. Will Christian, who will be joining you two for the night broadcast along with Daniel Blair, is down. And she had a chance to go in the Fan Fest, go over to the Yamaha rig and talk to them about those changes. Will, what did you find specifically? Any big changes? Can you have any big changes this year on that bike that you can let us in on?
Well, that's right, Dan. After a year like you guys have just taken a look at there in 2022, the bike is perhaps the only question mark, right, hanging over the top of Eli Tomac's head. And I went over there. We did hear from in the press conference, if you remember yesterday, pre-racing here. He was asked that question by the media, and we didn't get too specific an answer. He did mention the weight that was taken out of the bike, that being important to him. But apart from that, he didn't say a whole lot. So I headed over there to Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing and spoke to Jeremy Coker, the team manager, to see if I could get a little bit more insight, guys. And he didn't really disagree in any way. He said the geometry of the bike is actually the same. Yes, it's a new chassis, but geometrically speaking, it is the same. And what that means for them is less changes that he said they were even expecting when they took a hold of the new bike. Weight, yes, a big difference, he said, and of course that then in turn changes the handling. He did say to me, we believe that this is a winning bike, and right now they haven't really changed a whole lot from when they first put Dylan Ferrandis and Eli Tomac on that new chassis. So are there going to be any problems? It's A1. They've got to work through a few things anyway. Are they going to make changes? I'll check back in with them. But at this point, they don't seem too worried, guys, that's for sure.
That's a good mood to be in at the truck right now after a qualifying session. Ricky, I come back to you on the motorcycle. You spend a lot of time at the practice track and you're testing. The environment's great. You're working through it. You're getting comfortable. But this is a racetrack. There's competitors. The track's breaking down completely different. Now the pressure of a title. What kind of things are they looking for on the motorcycle today in Anaheim? I mean, what are they testing? What are their eyes open for just as we get into the race season where things are not going to be the same as the practice track?
Well, what I can tell you is I'm sure they haven't been testing too much in these type conditions. These conditions today are absolutely brutal, and we got to give a kudos to the Dirtworks track crew. They have done a phenomenal job with all the rain that this track has seen, but I'm sure, like I said, they haven't tested on these conditions, so they're probably, and I'm guessing, learning things about the bike that they didn't see in off-season testing, so probably moving and shaking, but they got a great crew over there at that Yamaha Monster Energy Star Racing team, and they're gonna work it out. Then you take the knowledge that a guy like Eli Tomac has as a racer. I mean, he's seen it all, he's done it all, so he's going to be able to make those adjustments and adapt to the track, I'm guessing, probably better than anyone out there.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by Race Day Live. To the three of you, Will Christian, Lee Diffie, and Ricky Carmichael. You'll be joined, of course, by this guy, the amazing Daniel Blair. You can catch them on USA Network tonight and, of course, right here on Peacock. Thanks again to you guys for giving us your input. We're going to check out the KTM Juniors. We got from Eli Tomac talk to little kid talk right here. The KTM Juniors on their bikes, 7 to 8-year-olds hitting the track. I think they have 10 rounds plus a final round for the top three that are going to go of each round. They're going to go to Salt Lake City for the final round. Always fun to see these 7 and 8-year-olds come out and take on this professional supercross track on those bikes.
Well, let's just stick to the theme we've been on this year, or today that is, where the track is changing. It's going to start out very difficult, get better at night. For these little kids, their first experience on Supercross is a super ruddy track. Look at the kids, are swerving all over, they're getting help, and it's just going to be better. I know they're going to go back to the truck and be like, wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Don't worry, kids. It's going to be a lot better tonight, but they've got some challenges early. They'll work through them, and then once they get racing tonight, there'll be a new challenge. It's dealing with the noise inside the stadium, but the track's going to be a lot better for them.
So cool to see them out there riding and handling it. Coming up next, we're going to talk Jet Lawrence. I can't wait. Come on back. Join us. Little Lawrence Talk coming up on Race Day Live.
All right, Chase, number 23, it's 2023. This championship's yours. Let's show these guys what's up.
Easy, boys. It's not over yet. Big dog still gotta eat.
Whatever you say, big dog. Seriously? These fools think I'm fried?
They know the deal.
Focus on what matters in life. Being together. Celebrating together. Without letting anything keep you apart. Walgreens pharmacists are here to help you stay well and stay together.
Welcome back to Race Day Live, presented by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. The sun is shining down in Anaheim here at Angel Stadium of Anaheim, and we've got another round of Supercross coming your way. We talked about Eli Tomac with the TV crew and just how amazing the past year was for Eli Tomac, and that was true for Jet Lawrence as well.
And Jet Lawrence will take the check. Jet, but he is absolutely the Rocket Man. Jet Lawrence.
Jet Lawrence, Monster Energy, AMA Supercross champion.
Nothing will keep me down.
Fun to watch him and his crew and his brother and his family having a good time. We talked about it earlier. One word came to mind, dominant. I mean, that pretty much describes last year, not every single round, but overall just absolutely dominant for Jet Lawrence. And do you think that'll continue into this year as well?
Well, it depends on which Jet Lawrence we get, and there's actually two of them. There's the Jet that takes the gloves off and can just put out these incredible performances. I think back to Minneapolis last year, the opening round. I also think of Redbud's second moto, where I think he was really mad that day. Had some bike issues early, and he came out pretty pretty upset in Moto 2, so he took the gloves off there. But then there's this other Jet Lawrence that likes to manage races and do just what is needed to get it done. So I think that's what he would like to do this season and win the championship by being able to manage. But if you're Austin Faulkner, RJ Hampshire, Cameron McAdoo, you were able to beat him last year. So you come into this season saying, I'm not going to let him be that way. I'm going to put him up against the wall and make him fight his hardest. So I think Jet does have the ability to dictate what he wants to do at times. But the ultimate goal for his competitors is don't let him be that way. Put him in a position where he has to ride to his full strength, because he has made mistakes in situations like that. But he does have the advantage. He has the most wins in the group. He's got these 3 championships straight, so he knows how to do it. But at the end of the day, his competitors are not going to let him get away with this one easy.
And 2 of the top competitors we were talking about were Austin Faulkner and Cameron McAdoo. We saw the interview that Lurch did with Mitch Payton. We all have a tremendous amount of respect for Mitch Payton, his history, his winning championships with that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. My question to you, you can answer it, was that the right decision to bring McAdoo and Faulkner to the West to compete against Jet Lawrence?
I hate to do this, but I'm going to give you 2 answers, because there is 2 answers to this.
Yeah.
From a team perspective, if you're trying to race for a championship, you want to put your riders in position to win, and the odds are it's going to be a little bit tougher on the West racing against Jet Lawrence, who's won 3 championships. And I believe that Austin Faulkner is probably the best rider on his roster, the most capable to win a title. So maybe from a team perspective, I would have maybe thought about going east with him and kept them apart. But I'm a fan. I'm a commentator. I'm in the trenches of this sport. There's nothing more I'd like to see than Jet Lawrence and Austin Faulkner go at it, because I think there's fireworks there. So I like the decision for all of us, but from a team perspective, I may have looked at putting him on the other side and just took the better odds and stay away from Jet Lawrence. But they already rode. It's on, so it doesn't matter what I think. They're racing.
Now, man.
So, yep.
It is on. I think we had a poll question. Did we get that poll question out about whether Faulkner would have, whether Jet Lawrence, I believe, was going to ask whether he had more win races than McAdoo and Faulkner combined? So will Jet Lawrence win more races than McAdoo and Faulkner combined? That looks like a yes, resounding yes there. Must have had that poll question up at Supercross Live. At Supercross Live, you can check those poll questions out. We'll do more of them as we go. But, I mean, it seems like if we talk about last year, what do you think about that? Do you think he will have more races, Jet Lawrence that is, combined than McAdoo and Faulkner combined?
He
wins.
Well, he did last year. He had 4 and they had 1 apiece. So,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that I understand why the answer would be yes. I would just say we need to take that clip right there and send it on over to Pro Circuit. Send it to Cameron, send it to Austin, see what they think about it, because they're probably thinking I'll take him on my own. But I mean, let's be honest, Jet Lawrence is really, really good at this. It's going to be a challenge to beat him. But both those guys have been successful in this class, and I don't think either one's afraid of him. I think they're willing to go, and battle the guy. So yeah. I think it's going to be a great season.
They proved that last year.
Yeah, and again, if they see that pole right there, it should frustrate them. But that's the reality of where we're at right now in the 250 class, and hopefully it fuels them to get in there and be aggressive and try to be impactful on opening night. And again, put Jet against the wall a little bit and make him fight for this title. Don't let him just manage his way to this thing. But you can only do what you can with the guy. He's really, really good.
Ken Roxon's really good as well. And you talk about frustration. He had a frustrating 2022 as well. Started off great, then got frustrating.
Yeah, it was a tough one for him. You come out and win the opening round and then falls apart.
That was a huge surprise. Ken Roxon leaving Honda HRC and moving over to Suzuki again, putting you on the spot. Was that the right move?
If he's happy, then yes, and I think he is. And ultimately, it comes down to your relationships and the chemistry that you have. And I think the chemistry with Honda had broken apart over the last year or so, and he needed a change. And what he did was something pretty cool and creative. Is he went and explored. He got a chance to ride a lot of different bikes, meet a lot of different people, and just go see what was out there. And ultimately, he made the decision that he felt was best with him or for him, which is to go back home to Suzuki, where he's had a lot of success. So with Ken Roxon, he's so talented and so good on the motorcycle. I think he could be successful on any bike. But for him internally to be somewhere where he feels comfortable, that's the most important, and he feels great over there with that team. So shout out to HEP Suzuki and Dustin and Aaron Pipes for the team that they have built, and they presented him an opportunity to go back to Suzuki on a program that's ascending and he's happy and excited. And as far as Anaheim's concerned, I mean, he's the best rider in Anaheim 1 history. He's won this thing 4 times. So
he's got the chance.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what he does out of the gate. But he did tell me this week it's big picture this year. He really wants to be in the grind there late in the championship, and I'd like to see him do it. I mean, I think I speak for a lot of people. If he could win that championship, it might be one of the greatest stories in sports after the injury he had in this building, to be able to come back and even race again and then be a champion. I truly do think it would be one of the better stories in sports history. So I think a lot of people are pulling for him.
If we don't see him on the top step of the box, you're not worried. This is part of his easing into this new team, this new system, the new bike, and working his way up.
Well, statistically, if you're on top of the box in Anaheim, you're not winning the championship.
Good,
it hasn't happened in a long time. So, no,
I'm
not worried about it. Eli Tomac proved last year you don't have to be in the top 5 at Anaheim 1 to go on and have a dominant season. So, no, ask me that question again in March, and I think it's a better time for the conversation. But at least for Anaheim, nothing really matters. They're all going to throw mud at the wall. We'll see what sticks, but it's just A1.
The bike is a great bike. We know that. Maybe not as new as some of the other bikes that the other manufacturers have done, but still a wonderful bike. And I think Haley Shanley was able to sit down with Larry Brooks, the TM, and talk about the bike and the changes they've made and how that's going to affect Ken Roczen and their 2023 season.
I am joined now by team manager Larry Brooks. Larry, there is some hearsay out there about this bike and how people think it might hold him back, and I think that stems from the fact that it's still kick-started, but I have a feeling this bike's going to be competitive and a good pair for Ken. So walk me through how competitive this bike is going to be.
So I would have to agree that everyone looks at the Kickstarter and thinks it's an outdated motorcycle. The bike was updated in 19, and it is an updated machine, but they stuck with the Kickstarter, manual Kickstarter. So I don't think it's going to be something that's going to hold it back. We worked on it quite a bit, that it starts pretty fast, and you want it to start on the first kick, you know, normally. And yeah, everything else is exactly like the other motorcycles. So I don't see any negative at all. And Kenny seems to ride Suzukis for whatever reason, growing up on them and just enjoying the company. And I think that it's going to be something that we're going to have to prove to people.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing you and this team out there with the bike all season long. This is Larry Brooks, team manager.
The question straight out of you, Daniel Blair, is that bike going to hold Ken Roczen back?
No, I don't believe so. Again, it's Ken Roczen we're talking about, someone that is so talented. He could ride anything. And at a factory level, it comes more... It comes down to comfort and getting the bike to work for the rider. So, yes, maybe that bike hasn't had as recent of updates, but he's going to be able to adapt to it. And I'll tell you right now, Larry Brooks, I think, is the most underrated piece of this whole Ken Roczen puzzle. He has been so successful as a team manager with some of the best that's ever done it in this sport. So to have Ken Roczen aligned with him, it hasn't been talked about enough, but Larry Brooks might be that final piece that helps Ken Roczen get over the finish line and win a championship, because Larry's done it. He knows how to deal with riders when things are good and when it's bad. So I think we got to keep an eye on Larry Brooks and Ken Roczen's relationship, because if that works, that could be a dangerous combination for everybody else.
And great for Suzuki.
Really great for Suzuki if Ken Roczen is successful on the bike. That's gonna make a lot of people zip the lip.
All right, we got lots to talk about, including what's going on with Christian Craig and his big move from a manufacturer to the 450s. Good stuff. So come back, check it out. Christian Craig coming up from Anaheim 1.
Fellas, I'm getting married.
It's gonna be just like old times, only better, right? Better.
Go the way we expect, but if we're lucky, we end up where we're supposed to.
I know what it's like to be a tired, exhausted mom. Don't you have 3 nannies? It takes a village.
If you're thinking about going back to school, this is for you.
I ended up spending less money my entire time at SNHU than I did in just 1 year at my other university.
My time at SNHU has given me more confidence. Now I can go for that promotion.
If you're ready to go back to school, you can do it. Southern New Hampshire University has changed my life, and it can change yours too.
Visit snhu.edu.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Skyrizi. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
to your dermatologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Get in the groove with up to 6% cash back at your favorite retailers. The U.S. Bank Shopper Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card rewards all your moves. The Shopper Cash Rewards Card, your one card for everywhere.
I found you a match.
Bravo's new social experiment will take these singles to a mystery destination to meet the love of their life.
Hey. Praise the Lord.
Wow. Love Without Borders. All new, Wednesdays at 9 on Bravo and streaming on Peacock.
Welcome back to Race Day Live, presented by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. So many great stories, so many great champions, and another one, Christian Craig, with an absolutely stellar and emotionally powerful year in 2022.
Ever so close to what is going to be a dream.
Christian Craig, the points leader, wins in Anaheim.
He wins in Anaheim.
Great ride by Christian Craig. Sweep Anaheim.
Christian Craig, you're a monster and NGAMA Supercross champion. This 30-year-old father of three has done it. He has finally put together a championship-winning season. Christian Craig wins that huge championship, not just for him, but his friends, his family, and I think for all of us. We were all on board with that. It was amazing after such a struggle, after retiring and coming back, getting a day job, not liking it, wants to go all the way and take it to the championship, had a plan, and put it into action. It worked. Now, he moves on to the 450s, something you might not know. He's been riding 450s for many, many years, all the way back to 2009. Haley, you got to talk to Christian Craig, and we consider him a rookie on some level, but I'm not sure everyone considers Christian Craig a rookie, not even himself.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He has been declassified by the AMA as a rookie, and that is simply due to his experience in the class. He has 11 races under his belt on the 450, and 4 of which he made it into the top 5. So his 450 expectations this year in his first full season in the Premier class is that he grew a lot over the off season, but as far as where he expects to stack up, he doesn't really know yet. He says you never really know until you drop the gate. So I'm excited to catch up with Christian hopefully later today and get his feelings on where his performance is at. He says he does not feel like a rookie. He knows the pace in this class.
Yeah, he does, and I can't wait. If you can catch up with him and get that inside scoop from him directly, I'd love to hear it. We got a piece of it from the press conference, and so rookie, not a rookie? Turns out not, huh?
Not a rookie. I never thought he was a rookie. He's got too much experience in the class. He's been too successful in the class, and shout out to Steve Mathis of Pulp Mx yesterday in the press conference, asked him point blank, are you a rookie?
Yeah.
And Christian answered. He said, no, I'm not a rookie. He doesn't feel like one, and the results I think coming this year will I think he's going to prove that he's not a rookie. Now, on the other hand, Colt Nichols is a true rookie, making his debut tonight. So it's not fair statistically to put those two in the same category. Christian's had way too much success in the class.
You said the results are going to come for Christian Craig. How quickly? Does he get his first win here at A1? Is it too presumptuous to even ask that question? I mean, he's won here 3 times in a row last year, right? He won A2, A3 in the 250s, but he won.
He has not lost here in a while. Let's just put it that way.
He loves Anaheim.
Yeah, he's really good here. I'll make a bold statement. If he whole shots the main event, clear track, no one in front of him, I think he could check out and win tonight. I don't know if he's ready to battle his way to a win, but clear track with his speed and the prep that he's had this year and just the vibes coming in with him and the confidence, clear track on opening lap, do not be surprised if he checks out and wins it.
And I've heard an interview with him where he's kind of like Ken Roxon, tempered it a little bit. Hey, I'm just here. I'm not going out for the win.
They
but
say that till the gate
once
drops.
the gate drops, and if he gets a whole shot, you better believe he's going for that whole shot, then he could take it all the way.
I think it's more than possible.
Could be fun to watch.
I think it'd be really fun in this place.
Hometown race for him?
This place will explode
if
Christian Craig wins 450 main event #1 of the year. This place will lose it. I promise you that.
So we got picks coming up for RM Fantasy SX. You going to put him up top?
He's in my thoughts. I'm not there yet. I need to see another qualifying session. I'm trying to be a little bit more accurate this year, not just go off my heart. I'm trying to use my brain this year in my picks. So.
All right, well, let's see. We had a poll question on Supercross, at Supercross Live on Instagram. Will Christian Craig win his first race here in Anaheim on the 450 in 2023? And the answer is no, 69% to 31%. There it is. So, yeah, I mean, you qualified it. You said he could. He needs that whole shot. If he doesn't get the whole shot, 69%.
Listen, this is the most ridiculously stacked field ever.
Yeah.
31% think he can do it. That is huge. You think that's lopsided in the wrong direction?
Is that going to give him confidence if he's watching right now in the rig?
That might look bad. That's 31% that believe it could happen. That's a lot of people with this field. If I'm him, I'll take the 31. That's awesome.
He also is on a new ride, right? He switches out from that support from Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing, goes to Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, new program, new bike, new situation. That could change a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a great piece of this, right? The Husqvarna team, there's great chemistry there working with Nathan Ramsey. But what I like is that he went right in and said, I want to work with Alden Baker. I've seen what they've done there. I'm not afraid of that program. I want that program. He requested it, and from what I understand, he is bought in. And when you buy in on that program, it works. So Christian Craig is in shape. There's no question. I've seen him at the test track. He's going to be very good. Now, does he win? We'll see what happens. There's a lot of good guys, but he's going to be great this year.
All right, more talk coming your way, more great racers to talk about. We'll be right back with more Race Day Live, presented by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Welcome back to Race Day Live, presented by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and we are here with Gavin Welzine, a Dunlop Elite rider. Gavin, how you doing, bud?
Good, yeah. It's been fun here. This was a Christmas gift from my dad.
Are you serious? Where are you from? Are you from Orlando, Florida?
Yep.
Unreal. And so your dad gave you a Christmas gift to come out to A1 and watch the best of the best ride?
Yeah.
No kidding. Was that a surprise? When did you find out? Right before you got on the plane?
No, there was this box, and my dad put a paper airplane of the picture track layout, and I was like, are we going there? And my dad goes, yeah.
Is that the best present you've ever received to date?
Pretty
You've got
close.
a lot of good presents.
Pretty good.
Yeah. How about your bikes? You're on a Cobra 50, right? And a Cobra 65? Yeah. And how do you like those bikes? Pretty good?
Yeah, they're skinny, but they fit me good.
All right. 2 championships at Minios this year?
Yes.
How did that feel to stand up there and receive that award?
Good.
Pretty amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dunlop Elite, they support you. You've been on for 2 years now. You're 8 years old, is that right?
Yes.
You're going to be 9. When's your birthday?
March 24th.
March 24th. How's your dad going to top this? He's going to have to do something really good to top Christmas with your birthday present, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, how did that feel to be there in the championship? Obviously good. You were saying that. 2 years now on Dunlop Elite?
Yes.
What do you think of Dunlop for helping you out?
Dunlop, they've been supporting me really good, especially Rob Fox. They've been doing just a really good job supporting me.
Have you been hanging out with Rob Fox and the Dunlop riders out in the Fan Fest?
Yes. Yes.
What did you have fun? What's your favorite part about the Fan Fest when you went out?
Probably Spring-a-Ding-Ding in the Spring Nationals.
Okay, gotcha. What about here in Supercross?
Here in Supercross, probably just speaking to everybody and meeting new people.
Do you have a favorite rider out here that you're rooting for in the 450s and 250s?
Eli Tomac in the 450s and Jet Lawrence in the 250s.
All right, buddy. You excited to be out here someday and race on this track yourself?
Yes.
Is that the goal?
Yes.
Nice, man. Well, very, very cool. I'm glad. Anyone you want to thank out here on TV that's going worldwide?
My mom, my dad, and everybody that supports me. Really, it means a lot.
It does, right? That support is huge. Well, Gavin Welsing, great to have you on Race Day Live. Looking forward to seeing you out here on this track. And big shout out to Team Dunlop Elite for supporting Gavin and a number of other young riders that are coming up and going off. We'll see you in just a little bit. Come back, more Race Day Live.
We've invited the best from all over the world who either won the show or nearly won the show. It's the best of the best versus the best.
You are a true all-star.
Once you meet with a TurboTax expert who will do your taxes for you, you're free to do not taxes. Show your eyes things that are not taxes. Show your brain things that are not taxes. See if not taxes makes you laugh or cry. Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet with an expert who will do them for you. Intuit TurboTax.
Welcome back to Race Day Live, presented by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. There are a lot of great features to RM Fantasy SX. It's easy, free to play, and will add another level of excitement to any Supercross race day. Just sign up, make your picks, and watch the points roll in. With group play, grand prizes, and tons of weekly prizes, it's perfect for any Supercross fan. Be sure to get your picks in today at rmfantasysx.com. And the man with the picks, the man with the plan, Chase Cook, back in studio. It's been a minute, buddy. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. How you guys doing?
What's up?
Oh, dude, just happy to be here.
Yeah?
Happy to be here.
We all are. We're all excited to be back in at it, buddy.
How about that track?
How about it?
It's I think you got to take raw speed out of the equation tonight and just look at who's going to survive this main event tonight.
Efficiency is the key.
And efficiency, you are absolutely right. I haven't
pulling
seen
back a little bit maybe when you should
95% might get it done tonight. 100 might.
100 might make problems for a lot of people.
I mean, how many guys went down in that first qualifying practice? 250s and 450s. Yeah, all of them. It's a battle of attrition out there tonight. It is wild.
Does that change your picks at all? Are you locked in with your picks for RM Fantasy?
Well, I saw Tomac basically rip that whole shot, right? And then AP was up there in front. But Marv impressed me.
Dude, fastest qualifier so far.
Exactly.
Still got another round to go, so a little
one more round
here,
to go. So, I mean, I don't know.
It's hard. It makes it up. Is that what you thought would happen?
Not necessarily. I don't know. I mean, Coop was a little off the pace, but the track is just it's going to be such a big component to what happens tonight. It's not going to be. It's going to be a racecraft, and I think just clean laps the whole way through.
Yeah, huge.
I mean, I don't think the viewers can tell just how nasty the track is unless you're down trackside looking at it at a floor level.
When you see the best Supercross riders in the world making that many mistakes, just use your imagination. It's not very easy out there.
Exactly.
So, I mean, these guys are the best of the best. When you watch Anderson ride, it's like this unbelievable flow and style, and then he comes out and he's on the ground in the qualifying. That doesn't happen on a regular track. So, yeah, you're right. This is going to be a challenge. Let's talk fantasy a little bit, though. I got a question for you right off the top. You want some this year or what?
I do. Do you see this mustache?
Okay.
This means business.
Because, look, I'm playing with my head this year and not my heart.
Okay.
My heart gets me in trouble when I make my picks, but I'm leveling up in 23.
So you're going with stats. You're going to try and make it more off of stats.
I got Clinton Fowler.
Yeah, I was going to say,
in
he's
my
hooked
back
up with
pocket.
Clinton. He's
So,
got
yeah,
3 laps
I'm coming
down.
at it different this year,
Right.
so I just want to know if you're ready, because I am.
Well, let's hear what. Okay, well, let's tell people about fantasy real quick. $100,000 in prizes, more. We give away 100 weekly prizes. We've got 3 dirt bikes that are up for grabs this year, and it's free to play. You go to armfantasysx.com, create a free account, and then you just make your top 5 picks each week. You have a wild card, and then we have a live YouTube show that we do Mondays and Thursdays where me and Kobe, not Christian this year, he's behind the scenes, but we come and we give stats on all the riders. So if you're not too familiar with it, we give some stats there to just kind of help you know, okay, this guy's better at starts, or his average finish has been this, or this guy's average lap time is. So it's just awesome stats throughout the year.
And for your show, you have guests come in. You had Aaron Plessinger, I
yeah,
think,
we
for
just
the
had
first
8.
round.
Yeah, where do you think this came from?
Inspired
You
by
need a
AC.
cowboy hat, buddy.
I was ready
you
for
need
it.
that cowboy hat and
You
some
don't got
boots.
no
You'll be
hair
good
in the
to
back.
go.
I know.
Dude, you need to grow it out a
I need
bit.
a party in the back. But yeah, AP called in.
No
and,
mullet.
oh, yeah, I don't
Next.
know, man. I don't know if the
That
wife
takes
would.
guts.
It does. You know,
AP can pull it off.
Well,
the rest of us not so much.
2024, he's got to start now, so that's the problem.
But I am keeping my word as I did last year. I have Sexton right now to win. He looked good in qualifying. If Chase Sexton wins, the hair is being bleached. I made that commitment.
No. He has all black hair right now. He went a full different look. He shocked us all at the press conference.
That's
yesterday.
okay. That's all right. But if he wins, I have said on the show I will bleach my hair.
Okay. All right. It'll be fun to watch.
Okay.
Let's get to the picks right now. Daniel, why don't you start it off?
Oh, I said I'm playing with my head this year.
He needs to call Clinton.
He's got to see qualifying.
If I pick now, that's a heart pick. So I'm not ready. Ken Roxon's winning.
We can go to Haley and Lurch. Let's
All right.
talk to them right now. Haley, do you have your picks ready? I think it's the top 5, and your wild card is 10th place.
It is.
That's a tough one this year.
Right now I have Nichols, but let's hear what they have to say.
All right, let's go to Haley. What are your picks?
Thanks, guys. I think for the 450s, I'm going to go with Jason Anderson. Well, why is that? Because it's your pick. Why? I'm so sorry to admit it. Jason Anderson, and I'm basing that off of not only just last season. That's what I'm going to base it off of. He was the only one that could really match Tomac there at the very late stages of the season, and he looked good in that qualifying session despite having a crash. And for the 250s, I am going to go with, let's see. This one's tough. Give me a second.
All right, yeah, and I'm going to go with Jason Anderson for my number 1 pick, and I'm going to tell you why. This is a weird fact bomb, but 41% of all the 450 Supercross championships have been won by a guy whose name started with a J. You got your Jeremys, your James, your Jimmys. 29% is the letter R. That's right, your Rickies and your Ryans, the era of Ryan. So I'm going to go with the J. We're going to start the season out right.
I don't know if that's Clinton Fowler logic,
Lurch
but
has
it'll
been
work.
digging
It's my
deep for
logic.
those
It makes sense to me.
All right. Pressure's on, buddy. We can just do number 1 if you want. Now, again, on rmfantasysx.com, you need the top 5 plus your wild card. That changes every round. So 10th place is the wild card this round. I got a couple of them last year. Put me at the top of my amazing group.
You got to get the
and
wild card
good.
right throughout the year a few times if you want to be at that top spot. And Daniel.
You said
look,
Ken Roxon under your breath, buddy.
He did. He was whispering it. Now
He was whispering.
you can of course change your picks after qualifying, but let's hear what the heart has to say about this.
The heart's with Kenny tonight. I want him to win, and look, he's
4-time winner.
Yeah,
A1.
well, and think about some of these victories and how they happen. 2014, he's a rookie. He comes right out and he wants to make a statement. He's a statement guy. He likes that. He makes a statement. 2015, he goes to Suzuki. He's got to prove to everybody it was the right decision. Makes a statement. 2017 comes out on his Honda. All the pressure being the Honda guy now. Dominates. So he is a statement guy, and he just made a big statement by going to Suzuki. So my heart and head are all in on Ken Roxon tonight. That's my pick.
You heard it here. How about you, Chase? What do you think, bud?
It's Chase Sexton. We share the name. I mean, there's only look what he just did. And I know Supercross and outdoors don't always translate perfectly, but look what he just did in outdoors. Yeah. He's the only guy that could really put it to Tomac throughout the entire season. No rider, in my opinion, has more confidence. I mean, Tomac's got the new bike. That is one thing you have to factor in. With Chase being comfortable on that bike, he's heart and mind told me Chase
I heard
Sexton.
him in an interview. His number's 23. It's 2023. This is the year.
Exactly.
And you're
All
with
right,
him
what
on
do you
that.
have?
He's 23 years old, too.
Hey, my director said he doesn't want my picks.
Lurch likes to play the game and do all the magic with the names. And how about that, 23?
All right. I do have on my – I've already went to rmfantasysx.com. In my group, I have Jason Anderson winning tonight. I might change it to Chase. I'm not sure. Who knows what's going to happen, but a little redemption for Chase Sexton would be good from last year, so who knows. But right now, I have Jason Anderson like my friends on the field.
What about the other top 5, though? What do? You putting Craig in there?
So I have Christian Craig in 4th place.
Okay.
He's in my top 5. I have Cooper Webb in 5th, actually, so rounding into the top 5. And I do believe, I forget who my other 2 were, but Jason Anderson, Chase Sexton were in there. And I'm going to say Eli Tomac in 3rd.
I mean, Tomac ripping that start.
It looked good, man.
It made me feel good.
Yeah, you don't do that
here.
if you're not feeling good. So
Exactly.
you just sit back. But
and that'll
surprising.
boost his confidence going into the second qualifier and the night show, knowing I've already ripped one whole shot today.
Yeah, they're working through the bike and what's to come. Starts are figured out.
Yeah.
He came right out and got that first start. So at least that part, which is sometimes and most likely or most often the most important part. So he's got that figured out early.
All right, well, check it out, rmfantasysx.com. Make your picks now. You can pick them right up till?
Right before the night show starts. As soon as the night show starts, they are locked out.
Plenty of time. Get on it, Chase. Thanks for being here. As always, appreciate you. You were talking about that track. That was big on your mind. We're going to go down to Lurch right now with a track report and look what it is up close. Lurch, what do you got down there, bud?
Well, I got to tell you this, guys. Coming into this event, a lot of rain. They got the track covered, so they eventually went from this here, okay, and then they made it into this here. Big pile right there. Watch here. You can stay right there. But here's the problem. Underneath the actual track is a road bed, which consists of gravel and dirt. That's going to hold a lot of water. A lot of that water is starting to seep up. You're going to see some of the transitions be really soft on some of the jumps. Those riders are trying to navigate those. By the time we get to the night show, I think it's going to be a different track, but right now, it's still in that soft stage, so it's going to be interesting how this night turns out and how this track develops.
Lurch, I appreciate it. Keep us posted throughout the day and the night as well. If you're here in the stadium, you'll hear from Lurch. We've got him. That was a quick change from Chase to Clinton. You know him as 3 Laps Down on Instagram. The man with the numbers, Clinton Fowler, is here. You're going to be seeing a lot of this guy this year, including on SMX Insider with Daniel Blair and Jason Wygant each week on Wednesday. We've got you to ourselves right now, and I know you have a scouting report, and I've got some questions to ask you. Is that all right?
Sounds great, Dan.
All right, I want to ask you about Chase Sexton and his chances. We were just talking about Chase possibly winning tonight. Those are my 2 first questions. One is Chase Sexton. What are his chances to win a championship?
Yeah, I think Chase Sexton's got a great chance at winning the title, but he's got to clean up his mistakes. He had 7 races where he lost 40 positions last year.
It's a big number.
Those 7 races cost him a lot of points, right? And if he does clean up those mistakes, he was 6 times fastest lap, had 6 hole shots. Both of those tied for, or it should be the most for the whole season. So he's clearly got the talent to be up there. He's got the key points, but he's got to clean up those mistakes.
40 lost places, is that the number?
40 lost positions.
Can I ask you, sidebar, what about Eli Tomac? How many lost places for Eli Tomac?
Yeah, Eli Tomac only had 2 races with 8 lost positions the entire season.
Unreal.
Yeah, he had an incredible season.
All right, hey, what about Jason Anderson? That would be he was the other big topic here for our picks. Jason Anderson, what about his chances of winning a championship?
Yeah, so Jason Anderson needs to clean up the run-ins. So he was only down 3 points to Eli Tomac when he was entering into Arlington. He had a run-in with Mookie. He gets second that day, loses another 3 points to Eli. Goes to Daytona, and he has another run-in with Mookie. Now he's down 18 points, a little bit of pressure on going into round 10 in Detroit. He's chasing Eli, unfortunately an unforced error. Now he's down 42 points. So you look at 3 rounds. He started 3 rounds. He lost over 39 points to Eli. He just got to clean up those mistakes. When he cleans up those mistakes, his ability to get a title right there.
It'll be fun to watch how he cleans up the mistakes in the second round of qualifying. I want to go to Dylan Ferrandis now. Dylan Ferrandis, a lot of expectations for him after that 450 Outdoors Championship coming into Supercross. Didn't go as plans. No wins yet, right, for the 450. Do you see him getting a win this year, and what are his chances?
You know, I don't know that he can get the win this year without cleaning up his starts. He averages 14th on the hole shot. Of all the riders in the top 10 in the standings, that's the worst hole shot position. So for Dylan to win, he's going to have to clean up those starts. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch him in the heat race tonight to see if he comes out with a good start.
Okay, good to know. Well, there it is, man. We're going to do a speed round, kind of a partial speed round out here, and I'm going to start with you, buddy. I want to ask about the number 27, Malcolm Stewart, because last year we were all looking forward to this guy picking up a big win. His first win didn't happen, left us hanging. You got the numbers behind it. You got the stats to back it up. Will he get a first win or not this year?
Man, we all know Mookie's a fan favorite.
He's
right?
great. Love
so
it.
I hate to have to say this, but I don't think he's getting his first win this year. I just don't see him getting his first win. And I know this is going to pain you, Daniel, but here's the thing. We talk about the fact that he was 5-time fastest qualifier. We see the Mookie heat race wins. He had 3 wins in 2022. But here's the thing. In 2022, he didn't get a single fast lap in a main event. And then he was in the whole shot positions, he's 8th. You compare that to Anderson, you compare that to Chase, they were 4th. I don't see how he can actually beat him.
When he wins, I will text you first. And again, I talked about the head and the heart. It's all heart for me with Malcolm Stewart. He's getting the win. I don't care what, I don't know, usually disagree with your numbers. I don't care about your numbers. Malcolm's winning this year. I refuse to hear otherwise.
Question for you. Star Racing dominated back in 2022, right? Christian Craig on the West. Are they going to even get a win this year?
Yeah.
In the West?
Oh, no. No. In the East, they're going to get a bunch with Jordan Smith. I'll tell you that right now. But on the West, they're young. It's a young team. It's a really, really good roster, but I would have to lean no.
Okay. All right. Any thoughts on that? Counter, are you with him on this one? What do the numbers show?
I'd have to agree, and I think the Jordan Smith pick that he made is a really good call. Yeah. There's a veteran with a ton of talent, and now he's going to be under that Star Racing tent. It's going to be a good season for him.
Okay, should be fun. Well, Clinton, thank you so much for being here. Will you come back and join us again?
I will, Dan. I'm looking forward to it.
Is it every week on SMX Insider? Do you guys have him locked under contract? Are you that lucky?
Yes, and when Malcolm Stewart wins, he's joining us for the whole show, and I'm just going to sit here and stare at him the entire time for 2.5 hours.
We can make that happen, boy. The walk of shame when Malcolm Stewart wins. Hey, it might be tonight. We might. You don't know.
I hope
you
it's
don't
tonight.
know, buddy. Let's get it. Come on, Malcolm. Let's go, buddy. We'll see. Well, Clinton, thank you so much for being here, bud. And we'll be keeping an ear out to 3 Laps Down on Instagram. That where can find you.
Yep.
Where else can they find you? Is that the best place?
That's the best place to find
At 3 Laps Down. You know him. You love him. We got him here. The numbers don't lie, and neither does Clinton Fowler. Great to have you on board, bud.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, we'll see you tonight.
You got it.
After he wins. After Malcolm Stewart wins. Awesome. Well, there you go. Make sure you check it out. The numbers, our famous statistician who does it for us, helps us out every round. And so we appreciate Clinton Fowler. He puts a lot of hard work into those numbers, does a tremendous amount of research throughout the year, and especially during the week in between Supercross rounds. If you're just arriving, you're looking at 250 Supercross West Group C qualifying, second round of qualifying for our 250 riders. We're going to start with Group C, go to Group B, then Group A. We have the superstars of the sport and presumably the fastest riders in the 250 class in the West. After that, we'll go straight from 250A to 450A for their second round of qualifying, where you'll see the superstars like Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, and Chase Sexton, the ones we were just talking about. Then we'll go to Group B for the 450s, Group C, and that'll be qualifying. So one more chance here to put their number up on the board. Todd running 102 with a 106.022. You expect the times to get faster here in the second round?
Yeah, look at them right now. I mean, the track it's not even at its best yet. That's still coming tonight. I think the main events are going to be great, but you can see the aggression. I mean, earlier in the day, it was like, can I just get through this rhythm section? And now they're attacking the rhythm section. So, yeah, the times are going to be a lot better. And I'll just say right now, Marvin was a 101 in that first session. They're breaking under a minute. They're going to break under a minute here in a little bit, but it's good to see the guys now open it up, be aggressive, and get to use all that engine, because in the first session it was like, just get through these doubles.
So are the tires a factor out here? Do they switch their tires depending, or is this pretty much what they'll be running regardless of rain?
No, even though the track is getting better, it's going to be the same. It's really soft. You want a tire that's going to dig in and be able to grab and hook right there. So no, not a big change right there. I think obviously the track's just going to feel a lot better as it dries up, but it will never get fully dry, so they wouldn't consider a tire change. It's just going to get better.
Better and better. That's what we're looking for right here. So Cross, Bennett, Taylor, Blackburn, and Kopp top 6.
Look at that 103 points. I mean,
Shaving.
these guys weren't near that in that first one. So, I mean, Todd is looking really good on that Honda, 103.6. And pretty big gap over the rest of the field right now in this session. I think it'll tighten up a little bit by the end, but man, really good run by Wilson Todd.
Yeah. So that went by quick. Group C qualifying already down, coming around 3 minutes for their second and final round. Again, we're looking for the top 40 to make it in. So some of these riders may not even make it into the night show. They're kind of fighting for their lives out here. We'll see if they can pull it off. And we've got a very special guest coming into studio in just a minute or two. So make sure you stick around and check this out. A legend in the sport, multiple championships under his belt. And we're going to get his perspective on A1 and what he's been up to lately. Very good to see this guy sitting down. Hang tight. 1 second. Group C qualifying happening here in Anaheim. Round 1. And again, the inaugural round of Super Motocross World Championship that'll culminate in Los Angeles at the Coliseum. You've seen so many times. Right now, please welcome Ryan Dungey to Race Day Live. The man, the myth, the legend, another legend hanging out with us. It's great to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's crazy we're already here. Anaheim won. Unbelievable.
Hey, when you saw free practice take off, were you like, I don't do that. I don't want to do that.
He
I never
does
want to
for
do
outdoors?
that. I know he does.
He
We're going to
did
get into
for
that. Your
outdoors?
summer, dude. That was so inspiring. But hey, when you saw free practice, were you like, oh, have fun, boys?
When I saw him hucking the quad in the conditions the track's in, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great.
Don't need
All right,
to
I'm
be doing
good.
that. Yeah. How about the outdoors? How cool is that to get back in with the team and represent for your crew?
It was awesome. You know, I got a great opportunity with KTM to come back and do outdoors, and tough challenge. You know, I'd been off, for 5 years, and to come back, and those guys are no joke. I mean, it was tough, but I'm glad I did it. It was a lot of fun, and got to kind of go back to the outdoors of tracks I hadn't been at in 7 years, and I think I always wanted to see how far I could get up in the ranks. So it was tough. Now I was trying to get to the podium. That was my goal, but came up shy. But we're healthy, we're good, and moving on. So it was a good, just temporary, short term. And
what was the hardest part about getting back after all that time into racing in outdoors?
Just the physical, just coming back. Like, I had time to prepare, but it's like once I got to a level, I could never get past that. It's like I needed the whole year, recover, come back and do it again and be even more competitive. It's just like that physical side. It's just a lot of suffering throughout the races.
But we always talk about how tough the sport is and the grind, but I have to imagine you liked that process, right? Because you knew you were
you used the word suffering.
You knew you were going to get into that to do this, but I don't feel like you're the type that would run from that, and I'm guessing you might even enjoyed that process of getting in there and grinding again.
I did. I mean, it's, I like to kind of push it out. The suffering's tough, and it's a component with racing especially. It's grueling. It always is, no matter how fit you are, but it comes with racing, and like I said, I tried to train and do the best I could to be at the top level that we were competing at, and it was amazing. Though, I tell you, guys like Chase and Eli and Anderson. I mean, when those guys got in their prime, and especially outdoors, they're flying. The level has gotten better, higher, so it's good.
That's a lot coming from you. So you think it's even more stacked? Like that keeps coming up, more stacked every year, and you felt that when you were out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 5 years, but
not much.
The equipment,
not a long time.
It's not long, but the equipment's gotten better.
Right.
The pace has gotten faster, and then that's just the evolution of the sport. It's just going to keep progressing, and those guys are going to be. They were very efficient, consistent, and just at that high level. That's tough.
You talk about the grueling nature, the suffering involved. What do you think of the Super Motocross World Championship? It's extended really by two. It says 3, but it's really 2 rounds because we're dropping one of the outdoors.
Yep.
So it's 2 rounds extra. What's your thoughts on this?
I think it's great. I think for our sport, especially the promoters of motocross, supercross, working together to do something even greater, and for the riders, the Supercross World Championship, or the SMX, as far as like the prize money, but also for the fans and having a whole series together. And I just think it's something that had to happen a long time ago, and it's happening now. And
that's great.
There's always talk. motocross or supercross, and one's got to go, but it's like we need both, and so it's nice to see both live on.
Yeah, and both, my favorite part is that both will keep their tradition. Like, we're not changing anything, we're just adding, and I think that was scary for a lot of people when they heard things were coming. It was like, don't ruin supercross, don't ruin motocross. They didn't. They kept them intact. They just added this on and combined them together with a nice playoff run. So I truly think they nailed the entire format, and I'm excited to see it unfold this year.
All right, hey, we got to wrap up qualifying here for Group C. Let's see who wound up on top. It looks like Wilson Todd was able to pull it out. Hunter Cross, Colby Kopp, Preston Taylor, Julian Bennick. Dude, thank you so much for stopping by. And I don't know if you want to hang out. I'm sure you're a very busy man. But if you do, great. If not, thanks for stopping by. Ryan Dungey, four-time Premier Class champion for Supercross.
Focus on what matters in life. Being together. Celebrating together. Without letting anything keep you apart. Walgreens pharmacists are here to help you stay well and stay together.
Ooh, we're firing up the Chewy app. Can't say no to these prices. Clumping litter? Resounding yes. Salmon pate? Love that for me. Essentials? Check. Ooh, we have enough to splurge on catnip toys. We did it. I feel so accomplished. Pet me, please. Okay, that's enough. Now back to me time. Love you.
Great prices, happy pets. Chewy.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Skyrizi. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
Talk to your dermatologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
I'm a regular guy that got caught up in extraordinary circumstances.
Audrey?
Let's cut there.
He's gonna play himself? Wow, that's weird.
She had a secret phone, a secret address.
I'm in full stealth mode.
This is bigger than we think.
She was trying to fleece Paul out of money.
Beam me up, Scotty. I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Welcome back to Race Day Live, presented by Rocky Mountain ATV. MC Oakley is proud to be the official goggle and eyewear partner of Monster Energy Supercross, delivering vision powered by Prism Lens technology and protection for the world's best athletes. We got one right here sitting next to us. He decided to stick around, and we are lucky to have him sticking around. Ryan Dungey, I wanted to go, before you go, I wanted to ask, what are you up to now, bud? What is happening?
So doing some work with KTM. We're helping on, especially the youth side, the riders up and coming, the KTM juniors and amateur riders as well. The product side of the bike, trying to get these bikes, that's always the next goal is R&D, the production to come out better, even more competitive, and then a little bit of testing, some customer-facing events as well.
Excellent. And what about the Ryan Dungey Foundation? We've talked about what you've done before, your philanthropic organization. Yep. What's going on with the Ryan Dungey Foundation?
Yeah, so we've had a great, it's been 18 months since we launched the Ryan Dungey Foundation, and we've had a lot of organic growth, and it's been really, really amazing to have the support from everybody as well. Our mission is to create opportunities for kids, and our organizations we support is St. Jude, as well as All Kids Bike Organization. And got some amazing partners, KTM Fox, Strider, North American Trailers, and Cluster Enterprises. And it's pretty cool. About last year, this time, we actually partnered with KTM. And part of that is working with the KTM juniors and kind of helping them understand their platform and as a factory rider, right, for a day, but when they turn pro and that opportunity they have. And they do a lot of fundraising as well. And last year, they raised over $35,000. And put a bunch of all kids bike programs in schools, which these all kids bike programs are amazing because these it gives these underprivileged kids an opportunity to learn how to ride a bicycle who otherwise wouldn't have that chance. So
that could be life-changing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, we're continuing that this year. It's been 3 days, and they're over 10 grand, raised over 10 grand already. So
start.
Yeah, the kids are on it. They're doing a great job, but it's got amazing partners, and just trying to really got a lot of time now, not as a racer, and apply myself to that and keep trying to do good through that.
You mentioned St. Jude. Daniel Blair, you brought it up in your press conference. We're going to pass $1 million raised.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to hear it, but I feel like Ryan Dungey was really the one who introduced the Supercross world to St. Jude in this program. And I know you don't like us patting you on the back, but it's a big deal.
Man, too bad, Ryan. We're gonna do it. It's awesome. Again, my wife and I, we're big believers in St. Jude. We donate every single month. We have forever. And Ryan, again, I say it every year to you. I'm so grateful and appreciative for you bringing that relationship into Supercross and watching it grow. And yeah, we're going to blow past $1 million.
That's amazing.
Raised. I mean, did you ever think that was possible when it started out just something really small, and now we're blowing by $1 million?
No, that's something to be really proud of, and the support that the whole community getting behind it all is even more amazing. Not to mention Feld, the promoters, and they took the initiative to really apply this and saw an area where they could help, and now to what it is today. Unbelievable.
And the riders, too, donating all sorts of gear, their helmets, their bikes, like parts, plastics, everything. It's remarkable. Like, the whole Supercross community gets involved and makes it happen. It's really neat. We are watching 250 West Group B qualifying round number 2. Jerry Robin, the 93, up on top. He was up on top earlier in the first round, and now he's been passed by Anthony Rodriguez. Coming all the way from Brazil, the 111. Keep an eye on that guy. So yeah, you're okay sitting back watching now. I know it's been years, but it's okay to sit back, Ryan, and enjoy it.
Let me interject. Did you entertain? Just answer the entertain. Did you entertain an idea of coming back to Supercross in the last year or two?
I did.
You did. I knew you did. What stopped it?
The motocross opportunity was kind of always short term. It was in Minnesota. I didn't have to uproot the family, kind of things I've already said, and to be able to do it, I think I just needed to do that one more time. And but when it came time to think about Supercross, there was an opportunity. Contract was on the table, and that's really exciting, right? But uprooting the family and heading down to Florida, it was a lot on them, and I couldn't do that again. And nor, at the end of the day, I was content with the outdoors. It was good, and I felt like I was, ready to move on.
Let me ask you a question about Eli Tomac. I asked him at the press conference yesterday. He has an opportunity to do something that hasn't been done in a while. You're the last to do it, which is defend a championship. I mean, it went Anderson, Webb, Tomac, Webb, Tomac.
Yeah.
What does it take to defend? It hasn't happened in a while, and I know there's a lot of pressure that comes with it, but what does it take to run the one and then get it again?
I think you got to hit the reset button coming in to 2023. It's a new year. Of course, a lot to come in and a lot of confidence to come in on, but they're on a new model, a new bike, and so I think as a rider, it's important to hit the reset button and not really put any weight on your shoulders like you have to do it again. You go out there, you apply yourself one race at a time. You try to have a good bike setup and just take it one race at a time.
So don't treat it like a back-to-back. Treat it like a single title.
Yeah,
you're doing it all over again.
Yeah, to think I need to go back-to-back. It's like, well, no, just the goal is to go win a championship again and break that down into 17 races, and you just take it one at a time, and one race at a time, and one lap at a time, for that matter.
Right.
One start at a time, and it's like you live in the moment, and I think a lot of it comes down to motivation as well. Like, he's won a lot of championships already. Is he still driven? Is he still motivated? And I think so, because he's now establishing himself as the leader of our sport.
Yeah.
And I think as a rider, that's what was very motivating to me. It wasn't just about championships anymore. It was like, okay, be the next guy, And so, I think there's plenty of motivation in the tank for him.
Excellent, man. Well, hey, Ryan, thank you so much for sticking around. Again, I know you're busy, but I didn't want to get you off the set so quick.
You're trying to kick me off so fast.
I feel so bad. You're the nicest guy ever, and here I am. So I'm glad you stuck around, but we appreciate you and all you do, and we're looking forward to more. And hopefully throughout the year you can stop by once in a while when you have the time to chill with us and do some bench racing. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll be at some more races with you guys. So.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Ryan Dungey. There it is. You heard it from him. The man in studio with Race Day Live hanging out with us, and that's awesome, Daniel. I love that about this show. Ryan Dungey.
Stars pop in.
Just stopping by. He's just walking down the hallway. Hey, yeah, I'll come on in, hang out. Always good to hear his perspective and what he's done on and off the bike. Truly remarkable. Really, really great.
Yeah, he's a total package inspiration, not just as a racer, but as a person. Great for the sport. I mean, one of the all-timers. And I like what he mentioned about Eli becoming the guy. Eli's an all-timer now. He's not chasing that anymore. You know, those first couple of years of Supercross when he had a lot of speed and was winning a lot but couldn't get the title, we were questioning, are you just a fast guy? And Eli has proven now that he's in that discussion. He's an all-timer. He's like a Dungey or a Villapoto, and he's entered the conversation. The stats don't lie, and the things that he's doing late in his career. So to hear Ryan acknowledge Eli as the guy, it's well warranted, and it's just awesome to hear him say that, because the all-timers understand the all-timers. So it was great to me.
And who do you think, when Eli, he mentioned this in the outdoors, I think, at Motocross of Nations, when the USA went and won it all?
That was big.
Eli will tell you who the new guy is. Who does Eli say is the guy?
Who did he say something?
Chase Sexton.
Oh, well, yeah, because he had to deal with him all summer. He was probably like, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
I pushed him to the limit. But, I do want to make a little bit of statement. It's funny you tie this in. Chase Sexton is in a situation right now where I think he needs to go win this title and beat Eli Tomac straight up. I mean, let's go back in time.
Yeah.
Eli Tomac had Ryan Dungey on the ropes that final year of Ryan's Supercross career, and Ryan, like the champion he is, was able to fight him off and hold him up. And if Eli was able to get that title, I think it may have changed things to come, because it's like a vacuum. When Ryan was gone, everyone thought they could be the guy. But if Eli would have beat him straight up that year, there would have been no question that Eli is now the guy. And that would have been a long time ago. So I think for Chase Sexton, you don't want to wait for Eli to leave and then win. If you want to be the man, go beat the man, and then everyone will know it comes through you now. So I think it's an opportunity for Chase to do what Eli almost did to Ryan, which is take it from him. Don't let him leave, because you never know who's going to step into that seat and take the throne. You got to take it yourself, and I think Chase needs to do that right now before Eli leaves.
We joked about it last year, and you didn't say it, but we put you on the spot. Will Sexton win the championship in 2023? You never said, yes, he will, but you were really looking at that. You saw something almost like we see in Jet coming out of the 250s. What did you see in Sexton that really made you believe that? I mean, because this was before 450 outdoors.
Yeah.
And you were like, just keep an eye on this dude. He's unbelievable. Sure enough, prophetically, he really did incredibly well outside.
Yeah, he's a total package, and it's a generation shift coming. A lot of these guys are in their late 20s, early 30s.
Right.
And they're about to be gone. And Chase is going to be the leader of that next generation, and that's clear as day to see. So, I mean, I'll make a crazy prediction right now that I don't feel as crazy, but I am going ahead in the future. The Jet Lawrence Chase Sexton show is coming, folks. It's going to be incredible, and all this parity we have right now, enjoy it while it lasts, because I truly do believe that those two are going to take over as the dominant forces in that 450 class over the next 5 to 7 years. So, to me, it's easy to see. I mean, a lot can happen from now till then, but Chase Sexton and Jet Lawrence they're the future of Monster Energy Supercross, in my opinion.
Well, back to the present, it is Jerry Robin, the number 93, up on top here in qualifying round number 2 for Group B in the 250 West. The number 93 up on top. The checkered flag is out, so that will end their chances. It'll be interesting to see who wound up making it into the Fast 40. Here we go. Jerry Robin, man, on it. Hunter Yoder right behind him. Ty Masterpool, Anthony Rodriguez all the way from Brazil, Max Miller, Brandon Ray, and the rest. We'll see who made it in. Coming back in just a little bit, we've got Group A qualifying for the 250 West.
If you're thinking about going back to school, this is for you.
I ended up spending less money my entire time at SNHU than I did in just 1 year at my other university.
My time at SNHU has given me more confidence. Now I can go for that promotion.
If you're ready to go back to school, you can do it. Southern New Hampshire University has changed my life. and it can change yours too.
Visit snhu.edu.
Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet with an expert who will do them for you, so you can do not taxes.
Take on the day. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients saw a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. Some even saw 100% clear skin. And for those with psoriatic arthritis, Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness. Don't use if you are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infections, symptoms, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
Next on Behind the Series.
In all my years of playing, man, that 22 draft was something special.
If I hadn't seen it in person, I wouldn't have believed it.
Where can I even start?
The monster. It was scary good.
The outlaw? Come on.
The Philly had beef with everyone. And by beef, I mean tender, juicy steak.
It wasn't just a roster. It was a menu.
The Subway Series, the greatest menu of all time.
I'm getting hungry just to... Hey, can we take a... Hey, can I get a sandwich?
Switch from TurboTax to H&R Block Online, and tax season will feel just as good as all those other seasons, like award season.
You've always believed that I could switch to a better online tax service. And I did.
Upload last year's TurboTax return to switch to H&R Block.
Race to win or ride for fun. Whatever your style is, everyone can find what they love in Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 6, available March 9th, 2023. There it is, that shot of the stadium, looking fresh. Beautiful weather here in Southern California, like we knew it was. We get a gate drop here for our second and final round for A1. This is it. Monster Energy 250 SX Group A qualifying, fueled by AMPM. I like that they're doing 2 gate drops here. They did it in the first round of qualifying. They're doing it again right here with a split gate. We'll see who gets out in front. Daniel, predictions.
Austin Forkner.
All right. Let's see if he does.
Other Cowie guy go wide.
Could be his teammate.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Okay, Pierce.
Pierce making his presence known right there on his Trelly design.
Hold on. Do I get credit for that? I mean, did Forkner...
Yeah, I think he got the whole shot. It was close. Okay. The 18 was in there, and so was McAdoo.
Wow, you see that awareness from Jet Lawrence? Put his hand up off that because he didn't triple. That was like a, hey, guys, don't jump on me. That was, wow.
Well, an awareness by you to pick it out. I missed that. Yeah.
On his part. That was pretty smart.
Well, and that, remember what happened last time with Sexton and Webb. That situation with a missed jump, you never know what can happen. You can mess up whoever's behind you.
Hey, I'm going to make a statement on Pierce Brown.
Please
This
do.
is going to be a good year for Pierce. He is coming in so under radar right now, and he likes it. He told me yesterday, he's like, good. I don't mind it. In fact, I like it. He had a lot of podiums last year, got third in the championship, quietly had a really good Supercross, and then what happened is he kind of fell off in the outdoors. It was a little quiet there, you know, 8, 9s, and 10s, and I think people forgot how good Supercross was. And, uh-oh, that's not what you want to see twice in one day of qualifying. Jet Lawrence is down. But to finish the point on Pierce Brown, I think he's going to have a really good season. He's going to be feisty this year, so it'll be fun to watch. But this is tough. This is early. The question is there anything on the bike that's messed up? The bars, the levers, something like that, because he's got 8.5 minutes, so he does have time to get back in there and straighten things out, but he would end up missing some valuable time right now. The track is changing every session. So for Jet Lawrence, probably got to get back to the mechanics area super fast, straighten it out, and then have maybe half a session to throw down some heat. But that's not how you want to start things out in this qualifier. Austin Forkner, Pierce Brown, RJ Hampshire, 1, 2, 3, and whoa! You know, Austin's been living on the other side of the track today. We saw that earlier in the same section, but other side. So now he's got a block. Oh, get that block out of the track.
Yeah, track crew will hop in there, yellow flag out. They'll make sure they're protected. Big shout out to our track crew, always doing a good job. Heads up there, making sure everything is clear for our riders. Talk about safety. They do a phenomenal job if something goes wrong. Great. Alpine Stars medical crew is on there right quick to make sure they're protected. The track crew are the first ones that are on the site to make sure the other riders know that something's up. There could be an obstacle in the way. RJ Hampshire on the 24 coming at you right here in third right now for this round with a 104.612. Pierce Brown, as you mentioned, looking good. Still up on top of that 101.809, replaced by Hampshire with a hot one there as he crosses the finish line. Nice job on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, number 24 of RJ Hampshire. Still early in the second round of qualifying, but a brilliant run so far with that 101.659.
I'm not seeing Jet Lawrence's name on the leaderboard, which means he must have gone straight to the mechanics area to straighten things out. So keep an eye on that. Again, he's running out of time. You'd love to get the whole 10 minutes in, but he's going to end up with maybe half a qualifying session. It's kind of a challenge for him. But God, what a lap by. Oh, never mind. There's Jet.
He's back up. Yep.
But look at RJ. Look at Pierce. Look at Faulkner. How about Derek Kelly in fifth? I mean, I'm excited to see what he does this year. Just there he is right there with KTM, right for AEO. He was a really good season last year. From what I understand, just continues to progress. So keep an eye on Derek Kelly this year in the stacked 250 West.
There's Pierce Brown, number 33 on that Twirly Designs Red Bull Gas, trying to make it happen here, mixing it up with the 43 there of Levi Kitchen. And these guys are battling. Man, you talk about qualifying going off. They're pretty serious, man. No holding back right now for these two.
They're amped up, man. They've been riding and training and cycling and probably not being able to eat things they like for so long. They're just, I think there's a lot of energy built up. So right now, it's an opportunity to just get out there and do it and show it. But that is the gamble, and that's kind of dangerous. You want to be solid. You want to make a good impression. But don't take too big a risk. We've already seen some big crashes today. So you can be a little patient, contain that energy, and use it on the parts of the track where there's more forgiveness and less chance of crashing. I think that's the key to it, because aggression is good, but you've got to be smart with it.
Fortner up on top right now. He's the fastest qualifier 2 times in 5 rounds last year. That track getting beat up right now. Lurch is down trackside with a track report. What you got for us, Lurch?
Well, guys, if you take a good look at the whoops that are after the finish line, there's a valley created about 5 feet from the left-hand side. If they're in that, it's good. A foot to the left or foot to the right, it sort of funnels that rear end, causing the back end to kick. And if they go further to the right, it seems that's where guys are having problems. They're skidding off into the Dunlop Tough Blocks on the right-hand side. So these are going to be interesting all night.
Definitely interesting track. That's one word for it. Lurch brings it up, man. This is interesting, and how it's going to evolve throughout the night even more so.
Yeah, and I love this track. Think about this. Anaheim has been raced in so many times, 2 times a year, 3 times a year sometimes, like last year. You think, oh, man, we're going to run out of ideas for a track layout. No, I mean, this one is so different with the split start and the way they've used the floor of the stadium. So a huge shout out again to the team that designed this track, because Anaheim won it. They've had, I mean, how many races? I'd love to know the exact number, but to be able to come out with this creative of a track at the opening round after all the times they've been here and all the track designs that have been used, I just, big shout out to them. This is a fun track.
Pierce Brown up on top right now with a 1:07:06. You were talking about them breaking under that 1 minute mark. They're pretty darn close. Still 4 minutes left to go. So quite a bit of time left here in the second and final round of qualifying for 250 West. Again, we're taking the top 40, sending them into the show. These riders here going for gate pick at this point, especially Pierce Brown, Fortner, Hampshire, Lawrence, McAdoo. Faster you are, the higher you rank in qualifying, the better gate pick you get, and that's going to be important with this split gate situation.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, starts are everything in this sport, and gate pick matters, especially in the main events. I think in the heat races, not as much, because all the gates are good. You know, they come off the metal great, but then there's these deep ruts that form. In the qualifiers tonight, it's not going to be a big deal, but by the main event, probably have some nice, soft, deep ruts with some chatter. So as important as these qualifiers are for gate pick tonight, the heat race tonight is going to be really important. You'd love to have at least top 5 option, because you run out of good gates. It happens every time. So, I mean, everything's important. We're at this point in the sport where there's nothing that you can really just let up on. Everything matters all the time. It's a lot of pressure on these guys, but I mean, that's why we watch. We watch to see how these guys handle that. That's why we all love it.
Hampshire throwing down some good laps here. It moved him from 4th up into 3rd just now when he crossed over the finish line. That puts him in front of Fortner and Lopes, who was your fastest qualifier earlier in round 1. McAdoo back there in 6th place, and Volan, who at one point was your fastest qualifier, way back in 7th. So Max trying to find some speed on this challenging track. For the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider number 24 of RJ Hampshire, trying to track down Jet Lawrence and Pierce Brown, down the only 2. A little bit of technical difficulty. We are back here for Race Day Live, 250 West Group A. Final qualifier down to 1 minute and 27 seconds in this second and final round. Pierce Brown still up on top. I was saying Pierce Brown and Jet Lawrence, the only ones in that 1 minute range, trying to break under into that 60 or 50 second range.
Yeah, Pierce Brown looks great. 1 minute point 7, and there goes Faulkner to the top with a 1 minute point 5. And you know, I talked earlier about how good it feels to have your name on top of the board. This is the session where it really matters, because you're going to take this time into that night program. You go back to the pits with a little flex, knowing that you are the fastest. So for Faulkner, that's huge right there. Jet Lawrence is on a fast lap right now, so we get a chance to see if he can navigate this very difficult track his way. He's very graceful on the bike. He understands physics, I think, better than most. See if he can right now put it together up the inside, gets the double. 1 minute point 6, so a little bit better, but not the fastest.
Yeah, we talked about it in round one. Faulkner opened last year as the fastest qualifier over Jet Lawrence in Minneapolis. The question is, can he do it again tonight? Jet does not have much time left. Down to 25 seconds. He'll be able to finish that. He'll be able to finish it.
Track's tough
across the finish line.
Hey, it's getting better. Obviously, you see the speed, the aggression, but as they go faster, it gets a lot tougher. You can see the braking bumps coming in. The ruts aren't developing like perfectly. You can tell they're a little notchy. And these guys are flying through this right now. So it's super impressive to see how hard they're riding at round number 1 when you're still working out the race bike a little bit. But God, really impressive start.
So we have a checkered flag out for this one. The Rise will be able to finish the lap there on. Down to double zeros on the AMA clock. Sponsored by Oakley right there. Robbie Wageman trying to finish it out.
Well, if things stay where they're at right now, the fans can count on a Jet Lawrence in heat race number 1 and Austin Faulkner in heat race number 2. That's how it works. The fastest guy gets the second heat. So right now it would be Jet Lawrence on the gate in heat 1, Austin Faulkner first pick on the gate in heat 2, and then they would meet in that main event. And I'm here for it, Dan.
That'll be fun.
Here for it.
Yeah, breaking up the heats with these two. Again, this is the rematch that I've been looking forward to. Thank you, Mitch Payton, for delivering this gift to us. This is our Christmas present right here. We had the Dunlop kiddo. He had his Christmas present to come to A1. Gavin was out here, and we're just lucky to have these two battling it out as well. Here are your top qualifiers for the day. Austin Faulkner with that 1 minute point 595. Lawrence in second. Pierce Brown and the rest. We'll be back with more qualifying here. 450s coming up.
Peacock is streaming your NBC local station now. Get your local news and weather.
We had some wet conditions out there.
Plus your favorite NBC shows from Today to The Tonight Show, live.
Kind of huge news.
Streaming now on Peacock.
What's it like? Always knowing the truth.
I could just tell.
When anyone is lying.
I think there's been a murder.
Look out!
I have been kind of a death magnet. I'm trying to figure out what happened.
You ever gamble? Because you can make a killing.
Nah.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Skyrizi. With Skyrizi, most people who achieved 90% clear skin at 4 months had lasting clearance through 1 year.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
Talk to your dermatologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Get in the groove with up to 6% cash back at your favorite retailers. The U.S. Bank Shopper Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card rewards all your moves. The Shopper Cash Rewards Card, your one card for everywhere.
Hey, you want to order some Taco Bell? Two grilled chicken burritos, 2 bold flavors, $2 each. Order on the app, only at Taco Bell.
At Dog Chow, we believe helping dogs live their best life should be simple.
That's why dog chow is made with high-quality protein and no fillers. Purina Dog Chow. Keep life simple.
Welcome back, everybody. Nobody on the track could catch up to him, but we did. Austin Faulkner, a little Supercross 250 division deja vu, Minneapolis opening round on the East Coast last year. You were the fastest qualifier, able to get it done here at round number 1 at A1.
Yeah, you know, it feels good to get started like that. Really just the comfort on the bike, I think, is important. Not so much, you know, I was sitting in 4th there until that last lap that I threw down, and I really wasn't stressing about it. You know, it's just practice. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean a whole lot other than a gate pick to the heat race. So was happy I got a good start that one, and was just kind of overall happy with how my bike felt. So that was the main thing, I think.
Well, I think you did a great job. We're going to see how it all unfurls in the main event. The heats first, though.
Well, I would be pretty excited, and Austin Faulkner tempered a little bit. Hey, doesn't mean much. He's keeping it on, not getting too excited.
Finding the balance.
Finding the balance, that's it. All right. Monster Energy 450 SX Group A qualifying, fueled by AMPM.
Starts are dialed.
Looking good. We might have to look at our picks.
Hey, on both of them. Look at AP's got his starts dialed too. This is back-to-back.
He was looking good earlier in round 1 of qualifying. He's up front for a little bit. So the number 1 and the number 7 on the Red Bull KTM, it is Aaron Plessinger, big fan favorite. Of course, Eli Tomac. Man, you know, you talk about his runs in Anaheim. I was talking to Clinton Fowler about that, and I think 10th overall in his career in A1s, in A1, 7th overall. So 7th place in all Anaheims in his career is his average. If you just go with A1s, it's 10th place. Just wouldn't expect that from this champion who has 6 championships doing Supercross 4 outdoors under his belt.
Yeah, but once May comes around, he stands on the podium with the number 1 plate above his head, and that's because it's a 17-round Supercross championship. You have to manage the entire thing. And again, history will tell us. It's been since Ryan Villapoto, I think, in 2011 that someone's been able to win the opener and the title. That's just not the formula. And for Eli, a lot of people think that, it's by design. He deliberately comes in mellow. No, Eli is really good when he's comfortable, and he's not always comfortable at the opening round because he's racing his way into that comfort. He needs to make sure the bike responds and things different, because at the practice track, yeah, you can feel really good because it's your practice track, but a racetrack exposes flaws. And I think he likes to get through the opening 2 rounds and just see what those flaws are. I'm sure he would love to win tonight. I mean, who wouldn't? But he's usually just not comfortable enough to be at his best. Usually by round 3 or 4, it's on. Last year he won the 4th one, and I mean, good riddance to everybody else. So I'm not too worried about Eli Tomac tonight, even if he's a little off the pace. Don't freak out. That's just not what he does.
So Plessinger, as of now, in first. Tomac, again, we're looking at 101. The 250's down around the 1-minute range. We'll see if these guys can drop it down below that 1-minute range, which you estimated would happen here in the second round. A little more power out of the 450s, of course, can help them do that, and some more experience to boot.
Yeah, I think they're going to get into the 59s. That's my guess. Those 250s got down there pretty tight towards the 59s. So these guys, I think, will. And then it might even be a little quicker tonight once we get into the 450 heats tonight. They're going to go super fast. The track will be perfect by then. But main event, let's talk about the main event tonight. Late in that main event, this track is going to be, it's going to be so hard for these guys to push. So for a rider like Chase Sexton, who is now in the 59.7, there it is.
Said it.
So look, for someone like Sexton, where the speed, I mean, he has set the new standard of speed. He's that guy. He's going to have to be really good in the last 5 minutes, and it won't come down to speed. It'll be more of survival, and that's why a rider like Cooper Webb or Eli Tomac, they're so good late in main events because they know how to adapt to it. So for Chase Sexton, if you want to push the thing over the finish line tonight and be a champion, be the fastest guy through 15, then be the best guy in the final 5. That's the formula that wins you main events and championships. If he learns that, oh boy.
What about Justin Barcia? We know he's famous for winning Anaheim 3 times in a row.
Yep, 3 straight.
Could he do it again?
It's Anaheim.
It's Anaheim.
Yeah, of course
Anything
he can.
could happen.
Had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and I mean, I don't think you could put him in a bad mood. He was so happy about life and the team and his program, and just had a baby, and he's working with Eric Sorby, and he's just in this weird place where he says everything is so good. I mean, he was even like, I can't think of anything
looking
wrong.
around,
he was like, what's going on? So he's just in a great spot. And you know, we come off of Salt Lake City last year, which was a tough way for him to end the championship with a little bit of drama. And he just pressed the reset button. And he said, I'm I'm just going racing. I'm going to be my best this year. And
Good.
I'm excited for him because he makes things fun.
Maybe take a page out of Eli's book, and he was 8th in the first round of qualifying overall. Right now, I believe he's sitting in 8th as well. Problem with Christian Craig and that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. I guess he went down in the whoop section. And those whoops, do they look particularly gnarly to you?
No.
There's a replay.
Oh. Right for the blocks. That's my move right there. When you know you're going down,
aim for the blocks.
Aim for the blocks. Softer than dirt.
Not traditional for him. He's fantastic in the whoops normally.
I mean, okay, your question was, are these whoops difficult? Their initial build, no. They're really good. They were solid. But with the soil and how soft it is, they're chewed to pieces. So, yeah, right now, it's not just about how fast you can go through them. It's how clean you can go through them. And even the best make mistakes. You saw Christian Craig, maybe I'd say top 3 best riders in the whoops, period. He went down. So, yeah, they're going to be tough tonight with this soil.
Chase Sexton still up on top, the only one sub 1 minute with a 59.785. About halfway through this second and final round of qualifying for Group A in the 450 opening round for 2023. Eli Tomac, all eyes on this guy and his Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing bike.
Now he's starting a fast one right now. You can tell he kind of got a little hypey right there before the finish line jump. So to stay on Eli Tomac, see what he could do. Sexton's at the 59.7. Tomac's second, which is solid, but if you actually look at the pace, 1.3 off.
Anderson having trouble again. We got a replay coming up of that. We'll get back to Tomac because I want to hear where you're going with this, and hopefully he's on a fast one. Coming up, on off. Just front wheel down, a little too far, a little bit endo and washout.
You know,
not very typical for him.
Anderson and Lawrence, probably pretty safe picks to win tonight. Both down twice in qualifying. So for them, hoping to just get it out of their system. But at the same time, it's not a good trend to start going out there and being on the ground like that. You don't want to start a habit, especially this early in the year. That's a tough go for 2 guys that I wouldn't really expect that out of.
He's got plenty of time. I mean, 3 minutes 50 doesn't sound like a lot, but that's enough for probably 4 more laps around.
Yep.
If he can make it happen. So the 21 on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, second place overall last year at the end of the season, a stellar year, and on a win streak, by the way. The last 4 rounds of 2022 were won by this guy right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental momentum with Jason Anderson. You win 7 races a year ago. You close out winning the final 4. Then you go on and have your best pro motocross championship in 3rd. 2 wins there. I mean, if you're him, there's no questions. You come into the season, you're like, I'm coming off my best year ever, super happy, and I mean, I expect great things out of him. I'll be honest with you. He's probably my favorite to win this championship. I really think he could do it this year. That's no disrespect to Eli Tomac, but he's going to have some challenges with the new motorcycle and knowing there's an exit to your career possibly coming, where Anderson I don't think is there yet. So I lean Jason Anderson to win this championship. He's having a rough day.
Lurch, what do you think?
Well, guys, I got to tell you, the whoops that I talked about right after the finish line, they seem to be getting worse. Christian Craig went down just a few laps ago, and now I would probably say almost 30% of the 450A group is going around them. They've already set a fast time, not worth the risk versus reward for maybe a couple tenths of a second. Eli Tomac bombing through them right now, but a lot of guys are struggling in this section.
Well, and that's because these guys know they're not going to be like this tonight, so why take the risk? If you look up on the board and you're in the top 10, that means you'll have a top 5 gate pick tonight. I think these guys are going, you know what? I'll take it. I'll get into the night program. These whips aren't going to be like this tonight. They'll be tough, but they'll be different. And it's maybe not worth the risk. When you come around every lap, there's yellow flags, and the superstars of the sport are all laying in them. Forget it. Get me to the night program. Move on.
Well, we're not there yet. We're still squarely here in qualifying. Tomac down to 6 right now, if you can believe it, at 101.099. Had him close to the top earlier. Marvin Muscan again. He was the fastest qualifier earlier in round 1. Dylan Ferrandis, another French guy, right there in 3rd place. So Ferrandis finding something at least now better than his teammate, the reigning champ, Eli Tomac. Roczen up to 4th. And Anderson in 5th. So Tomac trying to make it up, and gets right back up into 2nd place behind Chase Sexton. By the way, last time Sexton was fastest was in Denver, round 16 back in 2022.
The only rider under a minute. I thought for sure 4 or 5 would get there, but the track's just getting chewed up.
Roczen able to bring it up into 5th. Now drops down to 6th. Cooper Webb.
That's good. Yeah, but this track right now, it's got Cooper Webb's name written all over it. I guarantee you he's at the bottom of every berm. He's just doing his thing.
Why is that? Why do you think?
Because when it gets sticky like this and gooey, it's not about just raw aggressive speed. It's about being tactical, and he's so tactical. So you see Anderson the way he's right. Anderson is trying so dang hard. Yeah, he makes a lot of gains, but that high risk, high reward has cost him. And Webb, he's just good in this. So you see him in 6th, and you're thinking, oh, that's not that good. But for him, that's really, really good. And he's got to feel great about things right now. Marvin up there again, top 3. So
talked about it last year. Webb doesn't usually qualify that high, so nothing to worry about if you're a big Cooper Webb fan. This is not his thing, and he's already in 6th.
He's in the top 10. He should be stoked.
It's great. Uh-oh, he slipped down to 7th. We got to stop talking. He'll be fine. Roxon now on that Suzuki moves up into 5th place overall, so that's a big jump. Ferrandis now down into 6th place. So Tomac, Musquin, and Sexton up on top right now. Sexton in 1st, Tomac 2nd, Musquin right there. Both trying to get Sexton and push down under that 1 minute barrier. Only one guy able to do it. Anderson there in 4th, as you can see. We'll see if he can throw it down. I think time is out. That's right, checkered flag flying. This is Tomac's last chance to get up on top.
Watch his body when he rides, how strong he rides, but he's also agile. You know, some of these riders ride with a lot of muscle, and they're a little stiff and I would say a little too strong. He has that power and strength, but he also has some agility. He moves around. It's really fun to watch, especially when the track is like this. So it's just, I mean, you're looking at an all-timer right here, the defending champ on a brutal track, and it's just rad to watch these guys navigate through this stuff, man.
Big. So that is it. Checkered flag has flown. Sexton up on top. Tomac on that last run trying to make it happen. Was not able to get it to where he wanted to be, but not bad. 2nd place overall for Eli Tomac behind Sexton. Marvin, your fastest qualifier in round 1 for 450, is in 3rd place. Wow. So Sexton's 8th career fastest qualifier and on point right here. Look at that track. Here's the 25 of Marvin Musquin. What a run. Brilliant racing out here, despite the challenging track.
Yeah, but he's also a rider that has the ability to ride tracks like this very well. He's so creative with the track and his line choice, so not surprised to see Marvin Musquin. But, man, Sexton, only one under.
You mentioned it. We talked about it. There's Ken Roxon out there. We'll take a look and see who is at there. Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, Marvin Musquin, and we're going to get a chance, hopefully, to go ahead and interview Chase Sexton down on the track. But, wow, what a run by Chase Sexton. Again, we talk about making statements, whether it's in the main event, whether it's in the heat races, the LCQs. Right now, we got a statement being made right here in qualifying. We're going to go down to Haley Shanley, who has your fastest qualifier in the premier class for 450s.
What a run that was, Chase Sexton. We were talking with your mechanic just a few moments ago, and he said you're super happy with the bike, but it really came down to just one small mistake in the round 1 qualifier. So is it safe to say that your performance here was just managing those mistakes to get fast time?
Yeah, I felt really good the first 2 sessions. Just small mistake cost me fastest in the first one, and honestly, I didn't really ride that good in that session. I was making a few mistakes, and definitely got to clean those up before we get to the night show. But I just got to say the Dirtworks did a great job with the track. It's really good, really technical, and I'm just stoked to go racing tonight. Happy to be back racing, and my team's done a great job getting this bike working right, so it's time to get after it.
Job well done, 2-1. He goes in qualifying. That is Chase Sexton.